Okay. Hi, everyone. It's me, just Kaya. Real Talk Daily. All right, you guys. This is my second live. And I'm going to truly try this and be more structural and go with the flow as though I was just recording. That's the way I'm going to think about it, like when I'm by myself just recording. So if you don't know me, I'm just Kaya, Jusskya. And yeah, I'm new to this whole YouTube world, but I'm loving every moment of it. So I do this to share my wisdom, to encourage, inspire, and challenge us to be the very best that we can be and to live intentional. Yes, along my journey, I have learned that we must live intentional. So, the reason today for this live is I was watching like Kevin Samuels and I think it was mainly his show where I got this idea from, because one of the questions that I noticed that he asks is, what do you bring to the table? Like when these women come on his show and they say they want a high value man and they want this, they want to stay home, they don't want to work. And then he comes back with like, well, what do you bring? And then most of the time the woman say, well, I got, I can work, I got my degree, or I can make money too. And then he'll say something like, well, do you want to work? And then a woman, of course, for the most part, no. Amen, right, and then he'll go on to say, okay, so what do you bring to the table? And then they'll kind of just look bewildered. And I guess they haven't really thought about what they bring to the table. And I can relate to that to a certain degree, because a lot of us, really wasn't taught like what is expected of us as a wife, wasn't like set down and either by example or by sitting down having discussions. I know I wasn't. But within me, it was innately that I wanted to be a wife. I always knew that that was my end goal. Once I became an adult, I knew I wanted to be a wife. I knew I wanted to have children. And I really didn't think about at that time whether I wanted to stay home or if rather I wanted to work. I didn't even think about it. So in my first marriage, I got married at 20. And it was that type of lifestyle where he was the man of the house. He provided. I didn't have to work. And of course, in a couple of years went on, we didn't have any kids, and I was getting a little bored. So I decided to go to work, but I didn't have to. And I worked minimum, and he came from a 2-parent household where he had his mother and his father, and they were very active in his life. His mother never worked a day in her life. So, so I did get that experience, and I was a wife, and I learned a little bit from his mom. She didn't like me too much, though, because I took her baby away. Actually, I didn't. He took me away, but it's all good. So, so it really worked out good for me. But I still didn't have like the language. Like if someone was to ask me that question, I'd be like, I'm just a wife, and I bring me, or, and I probably would have said, yeah, I get all the sex he wants or whatever. But when I was hearing that question on his show, and I was thinking, okay, if I was right here on the spot, what would I say that I bring to a marriage or to my husband? And I was like, okay, I'll be a supporter. I will, I will have, and I was just trying to think of things, but I took a moment and I sat down and thought about it. And of course, we all reference Proverbs 31 and a virtuous woman. And I look at that, as a premise for what I will be sharing today. But before I start sharing that, I do want to say that I think the starting point is you have to want this. You have to want to be this wife or be the wife that your husband wants. You have to first desire it, want it, not just to get some end result. But yes, we want that, but not just to get some end result, not just to play a game. I'm going to do this. And then once I get the ring, I'm going to go back and no. It's either you or not. And I would encourage you always to be true to yourself. But that doesn't mean you can't change. That doesn't mean you can't evolve into a better you. When you learn better or learn more, you do better or do more, type of things. So that's what I'm encouraging you to do. And then I'm going to share this information, and it's up to you to implement it in your life. I hope that you do if this is what you want. I don't necessarily think that every woman wants to be a wife, but I think it's our purpose. I think that's what we were created for, we being women. And it just seems like a lot of things are maybe are out of order. But that's okay. That's what makes life so great, that, God gave us a free will. And yeah, it looked like we all out here wilding and doing all this stuff. But guess what? Before he created all of this, before he even mouthed or spoke the first word, he knew all of this would come about. And he still spoke that first word. So instead of us just sitting around here, oh, you shouldn't be like this and you shouldn't do that, our Heavenly Father already knew. And he went on with the plan. So now it's our job to become better us, to hopefully be an example, to develop this wisdom, and to get our husband and be that person that influence, encourage other people to be better. It's not going to be everybody, but those ones that come along and you impact their life, it's an amazing thing. Okay, so let's get into this. And we're going to talk about what you, wife, bring to your marriage, to your husband. Okay? All right, guys. So the question is, what do you bring to the table other than sex or debt? I didn't even think about debt until he said that. But because when I went to college, I was with my first husband, and I ended up going to college because a lady saw something in me and kind of encouraged that. But I didn't acquire debt, really. I went through all of college. My ex-husband, we paid for it. And then towards the end, I think I got one loan or something, but I left out owing like $9,000. So that wasn't too much. But I thought it was a lot because I've never believed in like getting something on credit. And then I was like, wait, you want me to buy something that costs $25? Charge it on this card, and then because I did that, you gonna charge me more money, the interest? I'm like, nah, I got the $25. I'm just gonna buy it. And I just couldn't get with that theory. But that's neither here nor there about this. Okay, so let's get into it, guys. So what do you bring to the table? First of all, like I said, you have to want this and desire this, but I hope, first of all, you bring wholeness. Like you are you, and you have done whatever work or whatever you want to call it on yourself. You done whatever you needed to do so that you're not looking for anyone else to make you A, make you B, make you happy, make you more ambitious, make you not be lonely or alone. No, you have to be okay, and you have to be whole within yourself first. You have to take this opportunity to really cultivate yourself, learn yourself, figure out a hobby or two, maybe read, and all those good things. So you got to first bring your wholeness. You have to come whole, 100% you first, and you have to know you. And then, so if you get this question, what do you bring to the table? You need to understand that you as wife will be the manager, the facilitator of your home, of your children. Yes, and that means housework, cooking, preparing, being organized, have a plan of what needs to be done. Of course, it needs to align with your husband. You guys need to have, of course, this discussion. So you need to be integral, discipline. Yes, discipline. You need to do it every day. Ain't no days off until he takes you on vacation, maybe. But you need to do it every day. Okay? So you got to be disciplined to do that every day. You got to be consistent and persistent. Make yourself a schedule. Even if you're sick, not feeling well, you got to keep it pushing. Okay? So you have to manage the household. When you find, or when he finds, and you get married for your husband, you are going to bring the wholeness of you to make his life better. Yep. You're going to make him better. And in turn, guess what? It comes right back around. But priority is we're going to make his life better. We're going to come into his life. We come in to make it better. We come in to support him, to encourage him. Yeah. So we're going to make him better. That's what we bring. And the way you do that is you get to know your husband. You get to know his every need. You should know him so well that before he even gets a chance to ask for it, here, baby, here you go. It's already there, already done. Already done. Yeah. Okay, so then faithfulness. You bring faithfulness. Well, you should. Faithfulness, he knows that he can trust you. You're reliable. That he can depend on you. Faithfulness. Yes, women, that's what we bring. We let that husband of ours know, okay, if he leaves some tasks with us, they're going to get done. They're going to get done. And when you're out and about, it's going to be as though he's out and about. You're going to be representing him. So your faithfulness, it always go back to that integral and that discipline, because don't just do it to like a minimum level. Do it with pride and honor. Do it because you are facilitating your husband's wishes, tasks, to make you guys better, to make him better. What do you guys think so far? What do you think about being the manager of your household and being disciplined? I think that I'm on the wrong thing here. Okay, so there's a comment here. I'm still learning this, guys. So, big time drum production, make your expectations equal what you deserve and can have. Well, yeah. Um, yeah, absolutely. Hmm. That goes back to like my first point of, well, I believe it goes back to the first point of making sure you're whole and making sure that I said in the beginning, making sure that you're whole and making sure that you have some hobbies and you really know you. So if especially if you know you, you're going to find that man or that husband's going to find you or be drawn to you, because of that mutual attraction or common goals, because of the places you will hang out, I would expect. But yeah, yeah, of course, of course. You got to be whole. Okay, reverence. Okay, reverence. So, what you bring, because the question is, what do you bring to the table? As Mr. Kevin Samuels like to ask women, what do you bring? So, you bring reverence. You respect him. You respect. Oh, absolutely. Okay. Oh, this would be fun. Thank you. Okay, let me see. So I have this request. Okay, I gotta figure out how to do it. Okay, invite. I think this is how I do it. I would love to. Okay, there you go, big time drum. All right, yes, I would love for you to come on. That would be awesome. Okay, so until Big Time Drum comes up, and I hope I know how to do it once he comes up. So we're on reverence. So reverence is, and back to the original question or focus point is no picture. I can't see you. I would like to see your face if we're going to come up and talk. But okay, no problem.
Hi.
Hi, how are you, Mike?
I'm doing well, and you?
I'm good. Thank you. I'm so excited. Thank you for joining me. I
You're
appreciate that.
welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Why did you what held your attention here with me?
Well, obviously, I saw the segment with you and Kevin Samuels.
Of course. Okay.
but but
Yeah.
I ri- but
Okay.
I right, but I will tell you this. Ironically enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, somebody else on a different channel, was talking about Kevin and why he does the things that he does. But
Okay.
at this right, but at the same time, what I think with most and this is the impression I get, what I think with most women that seem to have this love-hate relationship with him, that they miss the mark, is that a lot of the times he's not necessarily trying to um, insult you unless you insult him. You know what I mean? You know, a lot of the times you're just telling on yourself, and he's just taking what you're saying and he's dissecting it like, okay, well, this is what you said. So the fact that this is what you said, he's going to dissect that, right? And
Before you
so,
go further, real quick, I just want to interject real quick, and then I want you please to continue on. So
sure,
you saw the episode with me, right?
right.
Was I disrespectful? Did I give
No,
him
no, no,
any
no,
of that?
no, no,
Okay,
no.
I just wanted to make sure we was clear, for
No,
whoever. Okay, go
no,
ahead and
no.
continue.
But I'm just trying to make a point, right?
Okay, I'm sorry. Go
Um,
ahead.
right. It's okay. I'm just trying to
Mm,
make a point that that I just think if women that go on there, and sometimes I believe some of the women that go on there, they're just trying to get their 15 minutes of fame.
oh,
Okay.
really? Hmm.
I mean, if you really check it out, I mean,
Probably.
some of them will say the most outrageous things, and you go, wait a minute, are you really serious? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But, but I find a lot of them will tell on themselves and not realizing that they're telling on themselves. And Kevin is just taking what you're saying, and that's how he builds the content.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But at the
Mm,
same time, if you pay attention to what he's saying, you'll actually benefit from it
absolutely.
because he's just trying to tell you, look, you know, what you think as a woman is one thing. What we
Hmm.
think as a guy, it ain't what you're thinking. So if you're trying to get a guy, just keep it simple. You know, what you think we need or how it needs to be, you'd be surprised to find out you are way off the mark.
Hmm.
You know, and just like how you were talking about earlier, I mean,
Hmm.
the thing is that if you want to be a girlfriend, then okay, then be the girlfriend. But at the same time, are you that person's girlfriend? There's a difference between I'm ready to be in a relationship versus
Hmm.
am I that person for that relationship? Big difference. Just like
Hmm.
with what you're talking about with being a wife. You want to be a wife? Okay, you can be a wife.
Hmm.
However, you can only be a wife to one man. And that's really the question is are you the wife to the man that you want to be with? Can you be that wife to that man you are seeking? See,
Okay,
those
so
those are
mhm.
once you answer those basic questions, you're good after that.
Well, because I was really going in I never thought about it this way until I start listening to these different shows on
Yeah,
YouTube. But it's like a husband seeks you. So they said, you go find a good
right,
woman, wife, right?
right, right.
So in that aspect of things, in which I truly believe it, actually, like I was saying in the beginning, my first husband, totally, it was that way.
Yeah,
But the what I'm talking about today is the wife, the woman, knowing what she brings to the table, knowing herself, what she's going. Because he always asks, "Well, what do you bring except for sex and
yeah,
debt?" You
yeah,
know.
yeah,
So yeah, that's what I was focusing on
yeah.
today because it would seem like the women were getting stuck. Like, I don't know what I bring. I don't know besides, because the answer is like, yeah, I'm bringing some good loving, and I'm bring some money, maybe, but I don't want to work,
But guess
and
what?
then,
But
yeah,
see, here's the
huh?
thing. If you're
Mm-hmm,
saying I'm bringing good loving,
mm-hmm.
define what good loving is.
Exactly. And then
In
so
other
she would,
words,
yeah.
In other words, aside from you're saying, well, I'm bringing good loving, which we obviously would assume sex, but aside from that, what does good loving mean to you? It's not necessarily a right or wrong answer. It just
Mm-hmm.
means, okay, if you're going to bring good loving, what does that mean? Like, does that mean you're going to cook a plate of food? Good loving, does that mean you're gonna
Yeah.
shovel the snow? What? Define that.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And
Yeah, no,
then,
I see what you mean. And then, but most women, not most, but the women I've seen on his show, for
yeah,
example, what is talking about sex, if we're being honest here, you know.
of
And
course.
then so yeah, and see, so that's such a narrow perspective that they have boiled down, from what I can tell, not all, but some have boiled down their womanhood, their feminist, their body to that's all they can bring. And so they haven't thought about and what you actually bring as a wife, if that's what you want to be, if that's truly, your desire. And so this conversation needs to be had so they know, what they can aspire to be. If it's not, I really think it's naturally in women if they will let the guards down, let the hurt, kind of deal with maybe whatever hurt, or, deal and let the past go. I don't believe in living in
Right.
the past. I believe from learning from it, gaining
Absolutely.
wisdom from it, and
Absolutely.
growing from it. But
Absolutely.
I have ran into a lot of women where their conversation is just the past and they keep talking about it. I hear the same story and I'm like, wait. Why do you keep replaying that same story? Let's come up to present.
Because,
Learn the lesson from that and then
right.
grow and get better. Yeah, go
Because
ahead.
unfortunately, with the women who bring up the past, they haven't gotten over the past. That's the simple
That,
answer. You know what I
that's
mean?
exactly it.
See,
That's
it's kind of
exactly it.
like, all right, like I'm just going to tell you from a man's perspective.
Okay.
Like, you'd be surprised to find out how many women I've encountered where what they're telling you, is one thing. In other words, I'm going to tell you what sounds good, right? How they react and how they act is not what they're telling you, you know? So the fact that there's this contradiction,
Mm-hmm.
because, like, for example, I know some women where they'll say, okay, yeah, I'm looking for this and I'm looking for that and I'm looking for this. And everything that they're saying, sometimes you're thinking, I'm that person. I'm that person. Like, okay, I'm that person. You don't have to look any further.
Mm-hmm.
But how they react to you, they haven't gotten over the past because they're still holding on to, well, because of the past, I'm just going to put on this safeguard to protect myself. And it's like, well, wait a minute. You know, you need to get over that before you even deal with me, because it's unfair to me that you're referencing past behavior just as a safeguard, to this relationship to say, well, just in case, get rid of that. Get rid of
I have
that.
a question for you then in lieu
Go
of
for it.
that. So, and we was having a discussion on Anton's show last night about this. So I had brought up that first of all, I believe, not all, of course, but most men, they lie initially to get what they want from a woman, that they're not 100% honest of their intentions at the beginning. What do you think about that? And I'm talking about beginning before going on having sex. The conversation was about premarital sex, whether we agree with her or not. Majority of us didn't. It was a nice conversation, but I came back to, because the men were discussing that these women have control because they're having the kids and they can decide and all of this. And so my thinking was, I took it back, or wanted to take it back to the origin. How did we get into that bed? Did he lie and give her false perception, or made her think that his intentions were something else? Is that why she let her guard down? Or was he honest and she's like, okay, I still want to go ahead with this? So what do you think about that?
Okay, so I'll I'll answer it two ways, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
As far as lying, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if a guy has lied about his intentions, how he wants to do things, um, clearly at some point, everything that he's lied about is going to catch up. That's
Mm.
obvious, right?
Yes.
However, if and I'm just going to be transparent, if you don't mind me.
Please, please do.
All right. If a guy says, "I want to screw the crap out of you,"
Mm-hmm.
you know, and even if you're thinking, "Oh my God, that's so crass, that's so this," and blah 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 blah, but the point is, you
Wait
know,
one moment. I'm sorry. Jordan, I'm on live, babe. So sorry. My daughter was busted in
okay,
on me.
okay.
Oh, yeah, you cammed up. I'm so excited. Thank you. I
Hey.
appreciate you so much,
You're
Mike. Really.
welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're
Okay, so
welcome.
go ahead. So,
All
what
right.
you were
All right.
saying. Hmm.
All right. Yeah. So what I was saying was, so I'm just giving you two scenarios, right?
Yes.
So
Hmm.
second scenario, like I was saying, like, so if the guy has come out and said, "Man, I wanna do the crap out of you," and that's
Yeah.
all he's interested in, right?
Hmm.
And even if you're thinking from your point of view, "Oh God, that's so this, whatever, whatever," you know, at least he said, "This is what it is,"
I agree.
right? So
Hmm.
you can make the choice of, am I with it or am I not with it?
Okay, so let's go back to your first scenario
Right.
because what the conversation also continue on is single mothers and
Yes.
how men leave. So let's go back to your first example where is
Yes.
he honest or did he lie at the beginning? We need to start there. So let's say, for example, he lied,
Right.
okay?
Right.
And she's like, he's telling her what she wants to hear, and it's
Yep.
working,
Yep.
and
Yep.
she has
Yep.
this perception,
Yeah.
and they, do whatever, she get pregnant, and he's
Uh-huh.
like, oh, and he just gone. And
Right.
so they're blaming the single mother. They're talking bad about single mothers. Well, why did you do this? Why did you should have vet him better. You should have did this vet better. This is what they were saying on the show last night. And I was like, but what if, because I hear it a lot, what if he lied? What if he told her all the things that he knew she
Uh-huh.
wanted to hear, and then
Uh-huh.
that was the outcome, and now she's the bad person? So what is your thought on that?
Okay. My only thought on that is, to me, that's a double-edged sword. I'll tell you why. Because you and I know that, and I'm speaking from common sense,
Mm-hmm.
in relationships, there is no guarantee, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the reason I'm saying this is, even if he was honest and saying, "Hey, I would love to have a family," and at some point, uh, a baby came out of it, and let's just say, for some reason or another, um, things happen where you have different goals and values, and it's causing a lot of arguments. And because it's causing a lot of arguments, you know, it has put you in a position where you're like, we can't be together. You know what I mean? So to me, I see it from that point of view, like, well, what's the difference between that? And even if, let's say, with the scenario that you're talking about, the guy lied, he had the baby, and now they're looking at, the single mother saying, well, Why didn't you vet any better?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, what's the difference? Because in both scenarios, guess what? You both had to take a chance. That's why it's the double-edged sword.
Yeah, and that goes back to the original question last night, which was about do you agree or disagree with premarital sex? And so that goes back to the origin to where we really should be married before you have sex and before you have
Well,
kids,
uh,
of
but
course.
right, but even with premarital sex, it's still the same double-edged sword. Because okay, let's put it this way, right? Let's say you were the type that was going to say no sex before marriage, all right?
Mhm.
But let's just say, uh, okay, I'm just gonna call it like it is, all right?
Amen.
So,
Do
all right.
that.
So let's just say for you, in order to satisfy you, a man has to have a dick 7 inches or better, right?
Okay.
Right? Let's
Oh,
let's
okay.
let's
Okay.
let,
Let's
let
get into it. Let's
right.
go.
Come on.
Let's go.
I mean, let's get real. Let's get real, right?
Okay, so
Anyway,
we're just talking about sexually then now.
yeah. So
Okay,
anyway,
okay, go for it.
let's just say in order for you to feel satisfied, a man had to have 7 inches or better, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, aside from that, he got to go down and eat the crap out of you, right?
Okay.
So let's just say those two things.
Okay.
Everything else, you're like, it's neither here nor there. But those two are a must.
Okay. I'm trying to
Premar-
figure out where you're going.
hold on. Check this out. Check
I'm
this out.
I'm holding on.
Now, let's say that you've grown to like, to love this man, and as far as you're concerned, you know, you're saying, hey, we're not going to have sex unless we're officially married,
After all of that.
right?
Okay.
Now remember, I give you I'm going with scenario number one.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say, and like I said, I referenced two things that was like a must. Because
Mm-hmm.
in other words, we're saying this is how you are,
Oh.
this is your makeup,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep. Yep.
So let's just say that's who you are. Whether
Okay.
that's true or not, that's irrelevant. But just for conversational sake, let's
Gotcha.
just say that's the case. And because everything else about him would suggest he is marriage material, right?
Because of
But
those two things.
no. You don't even know that.
Oh, because we're okay. Got it. Got it. Okay.
You don't know
Okay.
that
Yeah.
because
Yeah. Yeah.
remember the point
Nope.
is be- because the point is no sex before marriage.
Got it. Okay. Now I
Are you
see where you're
following what
going.
I'm saying?
Yep. Yep. I'm right with you now.
Or,
Mm-hmm.
or, or do I need to start all over?
No, 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 no. I got it. I'm there. I'm excited now. I see. I see it. I see the light at the end of the tunnel.
No.
You're pulling it in. Let's go.
All right. So,
Yep. Yep.
right. So, let's just say that everything about him. Now, remember, these two things you're not going to know until you tie the knot. You're not going
Exactly.
to know that until you tie the knot, right? Now, let's just say you asked him about sex, but was just inquiring just to get to know, right? And you said to him, well, you got to be big enough because, that's how I like it. And, you got to kind of go down there.
Mm-hmm.
And he's of the same belief that, hey, no sex, before marriage. but he gives you a general answer by saying, well, you know, I know how to satisfy a woman. So, as far as you're concerned, throughout the relationship, you built up this trust. So, if he said that to you, you've trusted what he said,
But
right?
that's not a good answer. But
Hold
yeah,
on,
okay.
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on,
Okay.
hold on. Just go with me on this,
I'm
right?
going with you. I'm on this train with you. Come on.
All right. But
All
let's
right.
just say that
Okay.
whatever he said has given you enough information, has convinced you, given you enough trust to say, I can marry you,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you get married and you both decide the next day you're going to consummate the marriage. Okay?
Amen.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Now remember, you ain't never seen what this man working with. Never, never,
Right.
right? All you know
Mm-hmm.
is what he has said, and he's never said it out in transparent terms. He's just been kind of general, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
you've grown to trust this person. Okay? All right, boom.
Boom.
You get to the bed and you're like, all right, it's time, babes.
I'm
And
anticipating. What are you gonna say? I feel like I'm in the bed right now, waiting for the unrevealed because I don't know what you're gonna say.
well, all right. So you get in the bed
Okay.
and it's foreplay, you're kissing, da 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 da. It's getting hot and heavy. And of course, when you first feel him, you're kind of like, all right, well, we need to wake this buddy up. You know what I mean? So you try to wake him up. You know,
This ain't going good.
you try to wake him up, and let's just say he's borderline six, and you're like, damn, he ain't a freaking seven. He's a borderline six, right?
Okay.
So you go, okay, I guess I'm gonna have to work with this one because
You're married.
this borderline six. I don't know. Oh no. Oh no. I
Okay.
gotta have my seven, right? Because that's what I'm used to. Seven or better, right? Boom.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
number one strike. Now remember, you're married.
Uh-huh.
So you go down on him and you give him the most wickedest blowjob he's ever had in his goddamn life.
Okay.
Right?
Lord, okay, where are we going? Let's go.
And then when you're looking to receive, he's like, I just don't do that because
Ooh,
I, I,
ooh.
I just don't, you know. And you're trying to tell him it's okay, you can, just go down and
Oh,
whatever. And he's like,
oh,
well, and he starts running that whole stuff about, well, it's kind of improper, and he's very conservative, right? But
okay.
you don't find this out until the night of that he is really, really conservative in that matter, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So bear in mind the two things I said that you require to really
Mm-hmm.
satisfy you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So overall, by the time everything is said and done, you feel like, oh my God, you know, I'm not satisfied because
Feel deceived.
well, okay. Now, watch this, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
You said you feel deceived, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Mm-hmm.
granted, he didn't lie about anything. He didn't lie about anything.
He kept
Hold on,
information back. Okay.
hold on. He
Okay.
didn't lie about anything, right?
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
But remember, with the exception of the sex, you weren't going to know until you actually uh done it,
Right.
right? Just like with him, he doesn't know too much until he's actually done it. Because in other words, he hasn't he hasn't really experienced you sexually until the marriage. Okay? So the both of you are going in this blindfoldedly.
No, no.
Does that make sense?
Because in the beginning, you started it off with the two things that I must have.
Right.
And I made this was my only must have.
Yeah.
And I made it very clear to my
Yeah.
husband before we got married that
Yeah.
this was very important to me.
Yeah.
So, and you said he just said, what did he say? We'll see, or okay,
He's
or
just saying it in general terms, like, yeah, I can
yeah.
satisfy a woman, da
So
da da da. He's being
he
very
knew
conservative.
this. He knew this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm thinking, and then you said he had everything else, which, okay, is great.
Right.
So my point, and if we get to that point, I'm
Yeah.
very disappointed because
Yeah.
we could have discussed this beforehand. Meaning, just because you are 6 or 5.5 or 6, okay, but for me to tell you that this is a desire of mine, that
Yeah.
this is what, I really enjoy,
Yeah.
and you don't do it at all, we should
Yeah.
have had that discussion in the beginning and we could have talked through it. It doesn't mean that I'm going to be like, okay, bye bye. But I should have been given that information. That's just like, if it means that much, that's just like showing up with a child 2 days after marriage. Oh, by the way,
Right.
you asked, did I want kids? I
Right.
told
Right.
you
Right.
I
Right.
did. But by the way,
Right.
I
Right.
got one.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
See, I didn't lie, you know,
Okay.
but here's
Okay.
the child. So, it's just, being clear. And that's kind of my issue with
Okay.
a little bit of my history with men.
All right. So can I draw a different scenario?
Go for it.
So let's just say that he was everything you wanted and looked for, right? He
Mm-hmm.
had the seven, he loves to go down. You had that talk,
Okay.
and he's made it abundantly clear, yes, babes, I got exactly what you're looking for. I am that guy. Okay, full stop.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
get married. Okay,
Oh, Lord.
N- now, now, I'm gonna draw it a different way.
Okay.
But even with everything that you required, you're not happy with the sex,
Okay.
right? So
Okay.
so again, this is where I say it's a double-edged sword, because let's just say everything that you talked about was one thing. When it came down to the action, he probably sucks in bed.
No, but I can
Right?
I can
Right?
see. Okay.
Right? Check this out. He probably no, I'm just saying, let's just say he sucks in bed,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So in a way, it's kind of like saying, well, damn, if had I had the sex before we were married, so I can say, okay, at least I know what I'm working with, I could probably say, can I deal with this long term or not? Because there's some people that are willing to make the adjustments and they'll change, and some people, that's just how it is. And
No.
if you could know a few things beforehand, then you can make the decision and say, is this worth me spending the rest of my life with?
Yes. In that scenario, because he hasn't learned my body or the way
Right,
I like it, he was honest. We had the conversation.
right,
He was a 7 or better. He didn't
right,
mind going downtown,
right.
but it wasn't to my liking. But since we had the conversation, evidently we're comfortable with talking about this. So
Yeah,
now let's continue that conversation for him to get to know make a little tweaks here or there. We got our
Right.
lifetime now to figure this out. And, and there's maybe some things he would like for me to do different. I can totally work with that.
All right.
Absolutely. Because
So,
his integrity at the beginning.
okay, so let me ask you this, and I'm going on your point of view, right?
Hmm.
So, I'm going to give you two things. Let's just say this person is willing to adjust. So, obviously, the person that's willing to adjust, it means they will do what it takes to make it better, right? Now, let's just say this person is not willing to adjust because they're just simply stuck in their ways, right? So, my question to you is, let's take that scenario and flip it this way.
The
Let
scenario where he was honest at the beginning.
yeah. But
Okay.
I'm saying, let's just say that he's stuck in his ways.
Hmm.
There's no trying to adjust or change or anything. He's just stuck in his
Hmm.
ways, right?
Hmm.
So my question to you in a scenario like that, wouldn't a part of you felt like, well, damn, if we had sex before the marriage for me to find out that much, would you still feel like, man, I wish it was like that so I could have found that out before marrying this guy?
No, I would be fine being married with him because his integrity, he was honest. And the two things that I wanted, he provided.
Yeah,
Even
but the
though it
point
was
is he sucks in bed. So are you
that's
willing
okay.
to? So
That's
you're
okay.
okay?
He was honest. Because over time, even though you say he's stuck in his ways,
Right.
but if with all the other things, because you said everything else I liked as well, right? But
Yeah,
this was
yeah,
my two main things.
yeah,
So
yeah,
if I liked everything else, this man, I'm attracted to him. There's
yeah.
things about him. He showed me all these qualities.
Right,
And if he showed me all of these qualities,
right.
even though you say he's stuck in his ways,
Yes,
he's going to learn. He's going to adjust to please because he's going to want to please me. He's going to want to evolve into that. He might
okay.
be like, I'm good enough, but I'm okay, baby. Yeah. Move a little bit, whatever.
Okay, so let me
It's
ask you
going to get
this.
to that point, but I still would stay in that marriage.
All right.
Absolutely.
So let me ask you this, all right?
Hmm.
Can you honestly say there are things about you that you're stuck in your ways?
Stuck in my ways, meaning that there's no room for me changing it.
Right.
No, I'm not stuck in my ways.
So as far as you're concerned, you're pretty flexible for the most part as far as who you are.
Absolutely. Yes,
Okay.
because you
Okay.
learn, you evolve, you get better,
Right.
you get wiser.
Right.
There's like new, like look at us right here. I'd never imagined doing something like this. I could have been stuck on the phone, like no,
Right.
I'm not doing that. The phone works just fine.
Right.
I'm
Right.
not
Right.
going
Right.
to change.
Right.
So no, I love change. I love evolving. I love growing.
Okay.
But no, absolutely. Long as there's no harm to me or someone else,
Right.
I'm all in. Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
I
not
mean,
no.
I guess, well, obviously everybody's, different.
So you're surprised at that answer. It seems like.
Yes, I am
Oh.
because
Well,
I'm just gonna put it to you this way, right?
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like with me, um, just to give you a short soliloquy of me, get
Okay.
a sense of me, right? I'm at the age of 53. May not look
I'm
it, and I take
53.
that. You serious?
I'm 53. Mm-hmm.
All right. So,
Okay.
all right.
Yep. Yep.
So,
Okay.
so I'm glad you said that. Now, so the fact that we're the same age, right?
When's your birthday?
March 12th.
Okay, you're older. September 6th. Okay, go ahead.
So don't get me the
We
same thing you
figured
got
her
me
there.
this year.
Huh?
I said, don't get me the same thing you got me this year for
Oh,
my
okay,
birthday.
okay,
Okay.
okay.
Anyways, um, so I'm
Me
glad you
either.
said that.
Yeah.
No problem. No problem. But what I'm trying to say here is that at your age, I'm pretty sure there's some things that you're pretty set on.
I mean, if I'm not gonna live in a dirty house. I'm not going to not wash my ass. I mean, I mean, nothing. I'm trying to think of something that I wouldn't give on. Give me an example of something you probably
Okay.
think that.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
Here's an example, right?
Hmm.
Like, I'm pretty sure for you at this age that you're not um, you're not willing to compromise on values and morals that you feel either A is a detriment to you, B you're not in alignment with, and C you just feel like it's just a deal breaker. End of story.
No, well, I said at the beginning, long as there's no harm to me or anyone else,
Yes, you did
you
say
know,
that.
yeah. So of course, and of course, my moral, that's just a basic foundation. If you don't align with my morals, of course, then we're not even going to be together. So it's not even in question.
Well, but the point I was making was I'm pretty sure you're set in your ways in some kind of way, and you've proven that without you even realizing it.
I'm set in my ways of my faith.
Yes,
Yeah.
you
You know,
see.
I'm set in my ways that I've always want a roof over my head
Yeah,
and I want to live. Yeah,
uh
but
huh.
but
Come on.
I'm not. But yeah, I mean, oh, keep going. I'm gonna set my ways in all those things. You know,
So that's my
teaching and
point,
growing and being wise and knowledgeable. I'm going to read. I want to garden and
right?
all these things. Yes, but the person that comes into my life, he's going to align with these things.
No,
He's
no,
not
no.
going to
Right,
be
right,
like,
right, right.
okay,
But I wasn't talking about that. I was just
oh,
saying, you know,
oh, I took
we
it in a way
no,
that
no, no,
in a
no, 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 no,
relationship
no,
or a marriage,
no,
because that's what
no,
we were
no,
talking about.
no, no,
Okay, God,
no. Right,
I
right.
didn't
No,
know you were saying in
I,
general.
right. I was getting to
Okay,
that, but
okay.
the point I was trying to make was that there's a difference with when you've come to a point in life where you're set in your ways in some kind of way, and it's either one or the other. There's no
Mhm,
middle, right?
mhm, mhm,
And so that's the point that I was making with you, was that just like with some things, you're not going to know until you take a chance,
mhm,
right?
mhm.
Whereas sometimes there are certain instances where you do say to yourself, man, you know, I wish I would have done this differently, meaning instead of it getting to this point, I would have liked to have found out before we got to this point.
Well, yeah.
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, but that's also a part of growing and learning and understanding each other.
Right,
So, it really depends. It's such it's so broad because it could
right.
be so many different things.
Okay,
But,
I'll give an example as using me.
okay,
Okay, here's an example.
okay,
So let's say I've been with a woman for a year,
okay.
all right?
Hmm.
And the deal breakers I told her was two things. One, I don't want to be with a smoker because I don't smoke,
Okay,
right?
okay. Hmm.
Number two, I don't want to be with a heavy drinker. I just don't want to
Okay.
deal with the drama and all the other stuff. Okay?
Amen. Hmm.
Been with this woman for a year, and she knows and understands this. And as far as I'm concerned, she doesn't do any of those two because that's how she presented herself.
Are you guys married or not?
No, not married.
Not married. Okay.
Not married. So I'm
You're
getting
living
to that
together?
point.
Oh, okay.
I'm getting to that point.
Okay.
So, yeah, okay. So, all right. So, just for conversation's sake, let's say we live together, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And let's say after a year of living together, a few months, we tie the knot.
Okay.
And let's just say I find out that the very two deal breakers, she does that, right?
Okay.
And of course, I'm going to be like, what the hell? Like, why would you do that? You know? And let's just say she says, well, you know, to be honest, I've been kind of doing this for a while, but you know, I just don't do it in front of you, but I really don't do it per se. You just happen to catch me. You know,
And it's been 14 months by now.
right,
Okay.
right.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
to her thinking, she's like, well, it's I don't do it in the way that you would think. But my
Yeah.
point is, you shouldn't be doing it at all.
Exactly. She deceived you.
Right. Now,
Mm-hmm.
but the caveat is we're married
Okay.
because prior to the marriage, you know, I never saw anything,
Yeah. That's a tough one.
right?
So what would you do?
Well, I mean, of course, because we're married, I mean, I can't just easily give up like that. I
But
have
how can
to.
you go on in this marriage and trust her?
Well, that's the thing. I guess my outlook is this, right? If I'm saying I'm married to somebody, I have to give it the best shot to try to work it out.
Of
I,
course.
in my mind, I'm always going to be thinking, I got to give it the best shot. Because without the best shot, then I am doing a disservice to myself.
Absolutely. But what about trust? Would you still trust her?
Well, but that's part of the point I'm making is I would have to give it the best shot because even if I lose the trust, but she's willing to say, okay, let's work through this. And I'm like, okay, well, for better or for worse, I feel like I have to give you that, I have to
Okay,
honor.
so say she does that. Say she says, "Okay, let us work through this. I'm so sorry. Please
Right,
forgive me."
right.
Um, it depends on how strong that issue is to you as far as the
Yeah,
cigarette
yeah,
smoke and
yeah,
the
yeah,
drinking.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay, so let's say it's maybe like a 70% of an issue,
Right,
being an
right,
issue.
right,
So she knows this. So I wonder if she goes, "Okay, I'm not going to do it anymore."
right.
Because I know, would you believe her, first of all? So, yes, because you're going to give it your best shot.
Well, put it this way. I wouldn't say I believe her 100%, but at the same time, if I'm saying I'm willing to work this out, then I have to give her the opportunity to
Yeah.
prove what I'm saying wrong.
Yeah. So you forgive her. Okay. Give you another shot. Then you discover somehow she's still doing it, but she's not doing it around you.
Right,
The alcohol hasn't been really a problem,
right,
but she's been doing it still. You caught her. Okay.
right,
So this is the second time.
right,
And even before you got married, she'd been doing it all along and she deceived you.
right.
So do you still trust her? And I'm not talking about divorce or not. I'm talking about trust only.
After the second time, no,
Yeah. No?
no, no.
Okay, so what is your move? What are you thinking and what's your move?
Well, here's this is me, and this is probably my
Absolutely.
um setting the ways.
Okay.
I am a firm believer if there is no trust in the relationship, then obviously we're not going to be in any kind of, it's no point trying to go forward. It's no point.
So you're done at that point
Yeah.
because of the deception.
No, I'm done at that point because I've given you the opportunity to rectify the problem. And if you haven't rectified it and you still go back, then
But everything
obviously
else is good.
it
Everything
doesn't
else is
matter.
good.
Doesn't matter. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter
So you
because,
would, okay, so you saw me on the show
yes,
with old boy, Kevin
yeah,
Samuels, right?
that's right.
So you heard the reason why I left that marriage,
Yeah,
right? So do
yeah.
you agree with him? He called me a horrible person. I destroyed my family. I did the worst thing imaginable. So I just heard your scenario why you'll get divorced. So you agree with him and what he said to me that day?
Um, I just, just recap what was your, what was the situation? Because I don't want to, I want to make sure that when he's saying that, I want to recap what it is that you said that would make him think that.
Okay. So you didn't watch my reaction videos, huh?
I, 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 I kind of saw some of it,
Kind of.
but
Okay, so when I was on
but
there,
if
so
I
we
remember correctly, I don't remember him, you know, tearing you apart per se in that regard. I remember him saying he just felt like maybe you should have rethink that decision a little bit
okay,
better.
so this was it. You're a horrible person, you so-called Christian. What's your answer, you so-called Christian? Come on now, you so-called Christian.
Right,
He's insulting my faith.
right,
I've never ever lifted my voice or anything. Okay, so just real quick.
right,
So remember, he came for me. I ain't call him. I didn't summons him,
right,
nothing. He came for
right,
me.
right.
So on there, and I
So
got asked the
recap what you
question.
said. Recap what
I
you
didn't
said.
bring my ex-husband up. I was asked the question is how my ex-husband came up.
Correct, correct.
So basically get to the point, I said that I don't believe my ex-husband can articulate to my daughter why homosexuality is good or bad, because I felt like he would like say, oh, it's just a homo thing to do, or it's just a fudge pack, something like that. So I said, I don't believe he can articulate it. And then a couple of other conversations happened. And then he's like, well, why did you leave? I said, well, he was just smoking weed all day and
That
playing
I
a video
remembered. That I
game.
remembered.
Yeah. And then it went
I
on to
remembered.
say, well, if that was a man and a woman, if she was just staying home, that's a housewife, whatever. You can't come out now. And then they asked me, because he wasn't working either. Was he
Right,
working before? I said, no, he didn't. And I was taking all accountability.
right,
But what I couldn't get out, and that's basically all, because he was cutting me off every question. I never completed an answer. Yeah, you
okay,
laugh because you know it's the truth. But and then he went on to say those things. I said, you're horrible and you're all this stuff. And he's mocking my faith. But the thing that he wouldn't let me get out,
okay.
my ex-husband kept lying, kept making promises, empty promises. He would never do from the very beginning
No,
what
you
he
did
said he
say
was
that.
going
You
to do.
did say that. I
Yes.
heard you said that.
And
Yeah,
then so he called me all these horrible things because I
yeah.
left the marriage.
You did
So
say
back
that.
to my
Yeah.
question.
Yes, you did say
Do
that.
you agree with him about his perception of me?
I think. All right. Here's how I'm gonna word it. Okay.
Don't backpedal.
No, 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 no,
You just
no.
left the woman for drinking and smoking.
But guess what? But guess what?
Hmm.
I never referenced anything about me being a Christian.
That doesn't matter. That
No,
what
no. No, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why,
Okay.
right? I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because think of it this way, right? If I'm saying I'm a devout Christian,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And and the fact that I'm a devout Christian, unfortunately or fortunately, whichever way it swings, there's certain expectations that comes with that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
It is?
Huh?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
There's certain expectations that comes with that, right? So the fact that you reference that, I think that's why in his mind he was saying that because put it this way, if if had you said, well, I'm just the average woman, his thinking would have been different. But
Okay.
I think because
Mm-hmm.
you reference being this devout Christian in some kind of way,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
he's thinking, wait a minute, make it make sense. Like,
Mm-hmm.
how is it that you got married to a guy who, you know, this is what he does, and clearly, um, before you got married, I mean, he ain't changing. As a matter of fact, he's been the same person right through.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm getting the same impression, Kevin's getting the same impression, then guess what, babes? You know, the perception of you saying, "Well, I'm just this devout Christian," but yet you have a guy who
Mm-hmm.
hasn't changed. Like, make it make sense. It doesn't make sense.
All right. I'm gonna take this candy out of my mouth. So
You get that?
I hear you.
Go
I hear you.
right.
Okay. So I'm a Christian. That means that I have accepted Jesus as my Lord and Savior.
Yes.
That, yep, right. I
Yes.
believe that He died on the cross for my sins.
Yes.
And I'm here living this life, trying to do the best I can. I'm not
Yes.
perfect, and I'm
Yes.
learning as I go along.
Yes.
And as I do that, of course, I want to be an amazing example for him, but I make mistakes. I'm going to make more mistakes along the way.
Listen, the bottom line
However,
is right. The bottom line is, and I just want to let this out before I lose the thought. Sorry, age,
okay,
whatever.
no, it's okay. That's okay.
We all fall short of the glory. Okay? Continue.
No, what do you mean we fall short?
So I said we all fall short of the glory.
Yeah,
Meaning
he's
we're
talking
not
to unbelievers.
no 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 no.
Believers,
I'm just
we're
saying in
there.
general. This applies to everybody.
Okay, so
Continue.
So I didn't say I'm perfect, and he doesn't require me to be perfect. He knows that I'm unable to. That's why he had to come down and die on the cross for me.
Right,
So with that being said,
right.
he made me smart too. He gave me some intelligence. So
Okay.
I'm in this marriage with this man that has lied. He's lied from the very beginning. Okay.
Okay.
I'm taking accountability for that. He didn't show me anything. It was just his word. I'm
Right.
taking accountability. I made it clear to him, you could need to do these things. He agrees. He doesn't do them. Okay. And I'm still trying to, figure this out with him because I want my marriage. I want my family. And then
Right.
I come up with something else to help us. He agrees again,
Yeah.
never does nothing.
Yeah.
Then not only this was his baseline what he came with, then he started deteriorating because now, oh, he real comfortable,
Of course.
just
You
sitting down,
continue.
smoking weed, just playing games. And then
Yeah.
he started every time just going out to the old neighborhood, hanging out with friends,
Yeah.
basketball, football
Yeah.
games, and
Yeah.
everything. Okay. So of course, I got to a point to where no longer will I allow my kids, my son, to think this is
Yeah,
okay, that this is how a
yeah,
man acts. No
yeah,
longer would I let my daughter think that this is a man that she's supposed to be looking for a husband.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I can no longer have this in my home. So I divorced him. That
Right,
does not make me any less of a Christian. That doesn't take anything away from what Christ did on the cross and God raising him from the dead and doing this for my salvation. That has nothing. What it does do, though, what it does do, amen, it allows me to share my story and what I've been through with other women or whoever wants to hear it, and they can grow and learn from it and take that information with them. Because I didn't have an example. I'm learning as I'm going along,
okay,
and it's no excuse. I don't regret it. I love every moment of my life, but
right,
now I have the wisdom to share with other women and encourage them, not
right,
to control them, but now they have some options. They can say, oh, okay, I know a woman that went through this. Let me, hear her story. Let me, learn something from her. They still might make the same mistake, but
right.
amen, it's all still good. But here I am as an example of everything that I've been through and my personality and who I am and who God created me for.
Yeah,
I'm very open. I share my whole life. It is no problem. I love sharing my life. I wish someone was there to put something in me. I had
yeah,
no
yeah,
clue what
yeah,
to
yeah,
expect out of a man. I knew
yeah,
I knew nothing.
yeah,
Absolutely nothing.
yeah.
And it's sad to say, but in the same sense, I'm here today. I'm learning now. I'm not in some corner just, oh, men are horrible. But no, I love men. Love me some black men. Love men, period. I don't hold no ill will, no nothing.
Right.
But I'm learning. And this is my life adventure. And it has, and for one, for him to he always say, yeah, I was baptized at 5 and I was ordained minister, blah, 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 blah. Okay, amen. So now you're even hold to a higher standard, if we're going to go by what you just said,
Right.
than me. And here you are mocking my faith, Mr. Ordained Man, Mr. Whatever,
Yeah,
but
but
I'm
hold
just
on.
saying, don't call the pot.
Yeah, but also too, right?
No. Mm-hmm.
Keep in mind that he might have said those things, but as you clearly could see, Kevin is not a minister, and he's always made that clear that he's not a minister, he's not a counselor,
Yes. Oh, yeah.
he's not none of it. He's
Yeah.
just a man that is just giving you his honest thoughts. That's it.
I'm just a woman and I was giving my honest thoughts.
And
But
I'm with
I
you.
was
And I'm
even
with you.
asked, and I was even asked the question because it was like a lot of things going, well, why you haven't gotten over it? Why are you still talking about, oh, yeah, she scorned? I'm like, I didn't bring this up.
Right,
I
right,
was asked the question, and
right,
being who I am, I don't mind answering questions.
right,
That's how it came up.
right.
So it's all good. I'm grateful for everything that happens in my life. But yeah, it was like, okay, Mr. Samuel, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. You got a sister on the map.
That's all right. Take
That
your
ain't nothing
15 minutes of fame.
but so.
but
Yes.
but I will say
Huh?
this, right? Like I said, I think in fairness, I would have to rewatch because um, I don't want to misquote the context.
Yeah, no. I mean,
Because
you
I
agree, but it's
but
not really that.
at the same time, in respect to what you're talking about, um, on the surface, I would say I disagree with um, Kevin, but at the same time, I don't want to fully say it's this because
Mhm.
I'd have to relook at it
Yeah.
And I have to say, and I have to go, okay, let me see why he said that. Because if
Oh,
there's something that you said that gave him that impression of whatever it is, then that's the response, right?
okay. So I got something to say to that.
Go
For
on.
one, he couldn't even get an impression because I was never allowed to complete one answer. Once I said 5, 6 words, I got cut off. I never
Right,
completed one answer for one. So he was going on partial answers anyway,
right,
you
right,
know.
right.
So that can't even, yeah, go into it. Is I was about to say something else. What was I about to say? Shoot, I didn't forgot.
It's not that
Dang it.
important.
It was such a, and I wanted to say what I forgot more so than the first thing I just said. Oh man, it'll come back. Oh Lord, it'll come back.
Look, check this out. But check this out, all right? Let's be honest, right? We as a society all have uh, perceptions, okay? And sometimes with the perceptions, you know, there are certain things that you're going to say that's going to give me the impression, and that's the perception. And unless, you know, because I just took, a little bit of what you just said, it leaves me this impression. And unless you say, okay, wait a minute, we need to expand that because there's more to that.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, wait a minute. Now my impression is going to be different. It might be different, or it might be the same,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? Um, so I'm saying this to say that regardless of Kevin's opinion, you know, he's
It's,
entitled.
yes, it is. I just
And
remembered. I'm sorry. I
go on,
just remembered.
go on.
And he goes on after I have not answered any question completely, and you will see that wholeheartedly.
Okay,
He goes on to tell me I need therapy, which he tells everyone, which I'm not. Okay, amen. I don't need therapy. I am such a whole person. I take everything with life and learn and grow. Mature. I don't hold no ill will against anyone. I love all my life experience because I grow and I get stronger. But anyway, that's what I forgot. That's what I had wanted to say. He told me I
okay.
need therapy.
So guess what? So that goes exactly with the point that I'm making is that whatever it is that, or whatever conclusion he's come up with in his mind, you need therapy. But, hold on. But that doesn't make it the end all be all,
Exactly. But
right?
I have to say this.
However,
Let me answer one question. So, how can you come to a conclusion from your questions that you asked me, and I didn't even get a chance to complete an answer? So, how that's not even that's not good. That's not wise because you're coming to a conclusion for
right?
one on half of an answer, not even no context or
Okay.
nothing.
Can I just um, give it to you this way? There are some people that you talk to, right? This is why communication is a heck of a thing. There are some people that you talk to that it's like uh, it's like trigger words or trigger sentences that, you know, if you've heard it once, you've heard it twice, you've heard it 1,000 times, you already know what the deal is. It
You
doesn't,
do.
again, that's why I keep saying to you, it doesn't mean it's the end all be all. So
Right. No, I get it.
I'm just saying to you, as far as with Kevin, just take all what he's saying with a grain of salt.
Oh,
You feel me?
absolutely. Oh, without saying,
Because it's not the end all be all. Just
I got over
because he
there
said,
cracking up.
just because he said you should get therapy, okay.
Well, yeah. Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
and
No, but you
if that's the conclusion he's come to, so what?
know,
So
no,
what? That's not the
amen.
end
You're
all be
right.
all.
So,
right?
after that, that was crazy because that was the first time I ever cammed up on anything. I just
Yeah, yeah,
went
yeah,
with the
yeah, yeah,
whim and did it.
yeah, yeah.
And then, and it was kind of late because, Lapeef, Let's Talk, they go a long time. So when
Right.
I laid down, I was like, Father God, I said, this man, very famous on these YouTube streets, just
Right.
came for me. And it was like a surreal moment. I couldn't even go. I'm like, wait, what? And then so I, went to sleep, woke up, and everything was cool. And then this guy, he commented on my YouTube channel saying, you
Yeah.
need to make a reaction video. Oh, so someone knows. Then I started seeing all these comments. I was like, what the
Mm-hmm.
hell is going on?
Mm-hmm.
So that
Mm-hmm.
day I was listening to Anton's Millionaires Morning Talk. Do you
Yeah.
watch that? Yeah. So, oh, you
Sometimes.
heard him say it then. He goes, oh, Kaya, you're going viral. And I'm like, what does viral mean? What do you mean? And then he's like, a lot of people are viewing the video.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
went to go look and I seen it and I was like, oh, that's what going viral means. I was
Yeah.
like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then so I kept I'm like, oh, these numbers going up, And then
Yeah.
I checked last, it was like over almost 300,000. I'm like, I think
Yeah.
that's really good. And
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
okay, amen. So I look at that as well as like a great opportunity for me because I just started my YouTube channel like a month ago. Maybe I think it's like 32 days
Beautiful.
now.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Right. And so
Beautiful.
that's what I'm saying. So my whole life is such, when I look at, I don't want to put it on anyone, but when I look at certain groups of people to where they live in this woe is me,
Right.
can't believe this. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
like,
Right. Right.
well,
Right.
if you all you got to do is look at the flip side. The glass is half full. What
Yeah.
was you? You still here, girl? You
Right.
know,
Right. Right.
make
Right.
make some cream out of that milk or whatever it is. I can never get into that woe is me a pity party.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
my
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
personality.
Yeah.
I can grow and learn, and it's meant for us to grow and learn
Right.
from every life experience, even that one, because even just sitting there and people like you're a modern woman and stuff. My personality, I am naturally very submissive person, just like right now. This is my show, but you would think it's your show because you're doing all the time. You know what I mean? But I naturally do that. That's just my stance. And I even was thinking to myself, here I am again. I'm like, this is my show, but you have to say, I have surrender it over to you, but that's just my personality.
Right.
I
Right.
am in that. I'm just the feminine woman, and I'm just like even at work. Being a nurse, those doctors getting on my nerves. And I was knowing better. And well, one day it did get to me, and I got fired. But that's neither here nor there. I cussed one doctor out because I couldn't do it no more, and I got fired. But that's okay. But 99% of the time, I live in my feminine way and I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
just,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
just the way I am. But yeah, but don't push me.
No. 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 Listen. Listen. Right.
No, I don't talk to you. I'm talking like in general. No,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
don't
yeah,
want
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. But I just, I just wanted to give you a little pushback and just say, just, okay, you know yourself better
Mhm.
than anybody, right?
Right. Hmm.
And obviously, with Kevin, there is no way he's going to learn about you. As a matter of fact, I'll even put it this way. I don't think Kevin is going. Well, uh, let me put this thought together. Kevin is not going to know you in the way I've gotten to know you. You know, within the last hour or whatever it is.
Okay.
Because, in other words, I'm still spending time with you, talking, and we're unpacking quite a bit.
Yeah, but I didn't go to him for him to get to know me.
No, 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 no. But check
No,
out what I'm
yeah, I
saying.
get you.
Check out what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Right. So again, you know, he's just going on his experience with talking with individuals, hearing the
Absolutely.
same kinds of answers, you
Rhetoric.
know, rhetoric, you name it, right?
Yeah, yeah. I get
So,
it.
so,
Absolutely.
so he already, in his mind, he already knows what the response is. You know what I mean? But
Hmm.
again, regardless of, even if you might say, well, I really didn't get to say this or I really didn't get to say that. But at the same time, if you just take it with a grain of salt, then half the stuff that you're telling me, well, do you think this is right or wrong? You wouldn't say that because the point is it wouldn't matter because
What
it's
did
not the
I ask
end
you that
all
I
be
did you
all.
think was right or wrong? Oh no, I asked you for his response. I was just making conversation. I can
No, no,
care.
that's
I
fine,
know.
and that's fine. Right, that's fine.
I get, yeah. No,
But right,
because yeah,
but I
because
did
it's not.
say right, but I did say that I couldn't really give you a full answer because I needed to look at the video again
No, I was
to give
just
a
talking.
fair answer.
Yeah, because I knew that's what
But
you said. You seen
but
me
at,
from.
at the same right, but at the same time, going by what you're saying, I would say I disagree.
Hmm. Hmm. You
So
can go.
so in a way,
I
I'm
want
being
to hear you
biased.
come back.
You know what I'm
I want
saying?
you to go watch it and come back and see. Did
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah, yeah.
mislead you?
No, 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 no. I don't look, look.
No. I'm curious to see if you still agree. Just for the fun of it. But like you said, it's I agree with. I haven't heard nothing he has said that I disagree with. I'll put it
Right,
that way.
right,
I
right,
haven't
right,
watched all his stuff. I'm not like an advocate watcher of his,
right,
but I have thus far agreed to 100% of what I have heard from him.
right.
Okay, with that being said,
Okay.
it's to me, I'm the type of person, and I'm just speaking of me, and no, I don't want him or anyone else to be this way. I take each person individually as what they present to me.
Absolutely.
Each
Absolutely.
person, okay?
Absolutely.
So I kind of expect that in return. But of course, I've learned you don't get it in return. Okay, amen. You don't.
Not everyone.
No, not everyone. So
Right.
that's why I have learned with going through life. That's why when he showed up unexpectedly to me, all
Yes.
of that, that's why I was able to stay quiet. I listened to him even though, I wasn't able to answer the questions, even though, he was kind of putting a bad light on me, calling me horrible, questioning my.
Um, I didn't perceive it that way, if I'm being honest.
Okay, no problem. So by calling me horrible and playing and laughing at my faith, but I still was able to stay true to who I am. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't retaliate. I didn't come back at him or anything. That is me. So towards the end, I truly believe if you kind of listen to him when he was exiting out, I think I think because I don't know him that well, that
Right.
he seen that I'm not that type of woman. I got that in the end.
Yes.
That's what I felt, even though, because it did, even when he was leaving, I said, I thanked him for his time. I appreciate him. I said, I will reflect on what you said. And I'll think about it. Even though I knew I didn't agree with him about when it came to me, but I still
Right.
reflected on it. And I made a reaction video, and you'll
Okay.
see my
Okay.
reflection
Yeah, yeah.
that I
But
didn't agree.
but at the same time, okay, let me ask you something, right? Let me ask you something.
Yes. Yes.
Have you ever had a time where you were in a conversation with someone, right?
Hmm.
And they said something at the time of the conversation that was either A, name calling, not nice, but it's at the time, but it doesn't mean that's their entire conclusion.
Hmm. Absolutely.
So, so if you're acknowledging that, then that puts Kevin in no different position because you just said a
Yes, it
few
does.
moments. No, no, no,
Yes,
no.
it does.
Listen, I'll tell you why. You just said a few moments ago. I heard you say this.
Hmm.
You just said a few moments ago. Towards the end, you felt like he had a better sense of you, and because he had a better sense of you, his outlook was a lot better.
No, I think he had a better sense of me in the aspect of I'm not that masculine woman that just reacts and be like, "Ah, da, 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 da." That's what I believe. But the reason why I didn't agree with you in the beginning is solely because he didn't let me complete an answer. He asked me a
Right,
question and never did not let me not complete not one. Not
right,
one. That's
right,
the only reason why I said that. So he wasn't even getting a minimum foundation, in my perspective. But at the end, I could tell he was possibly, was kind of shocked maybe that I wasn't that exploding type woman. Like, you don't know me. How you gonna
no,
tell
no,
me?
no,
Blah, 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 blah,
no,
blah, blah, blah.
no,
But I'm just
no.
saying, I that's what at the end is what
It had
I
nothing
think.
to do with that. No, because remember, the way Kevin works, it's based upon what you say, babe.
I know, but he said he matches your energy, does he not?
Yeah.
He did not match my energy. He was the one explode. Watch it. He was the one all worked
Yes,
up.
because that's just all right. Put it this way, right? You ever meet? Yeah. Okay. It's like there's some people that you talk to, right? And they just have a certain way of talking, right?
We
Now,
can
now,
keep going in circles here.
no, 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 no. I'm just trying to explain something. Okay, take five people, right? Five different personalities, right? Okay,
Mhm.
and you ask them to talk about talk about the phone that they have, right?
Mhm.
You're not going to get five of the same reactions
Absolutely.
because
Absolutely.
because person number one and how they see life and how they think is not going to be the
Mhm.
same as person number two, person number three, person number four, and person number five,
Absolutely.
right?
Mhm.
So I'm saying all this to say that everybody has their way of how they react, right? And to some people, you know, like there's some people that they talk loud and
You
and
know what I'm talking about. I don't
wait,
know,
wait,
but
wait,
I'm
wait,
gonna
wait,
let
wait,
you go
wait,
on
wait,
and
wait, wait,
defend
wait,
him.
but
Go
wait,
ahead, but
but wait, but wait, but wait. Check this out. Check this out. Check this out.
I'm listening.
And that's why but hold on. And that's why, overall the point I was trying to say was just take it with a grain of salt.
No, absolutely.
But
We're just having
as
a
long
conversation.
as
But
you
yeah.
take what he said with a grain of salt, then how his delivery and all that stuff, it doesn't matter.
No, I'm just so basically what I brought just holding him accountable, just not even holding him accountable, just having a conversation for
Right.
one,
Right.
and just pointing out different things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Meaning
yeah, yeah, yeah,
he's pointing out things about me. We're
yeah. Right.
having a conversation. I
Right.
know all of this what you're saying, but I'm just pointing out he always say, okay, don't come on here with that. I'm gonna match your energy. So I'm just holding him accountable for what he said, but because he wasn't matching my energy. I was just
Okay.
sharing
And
that. But
right.
but yeah,
And that's
I
why I
take it with a
said,
grain of
but
salt.
if
It's
you
like,
well, that's why I said if you take it with a grain of salt, then your point, you should cancel it because it doesn't matter.
no, because we're having a conversation. And actually, you brought up because I asked you, how do you know me or something? We brought up the show
Yes.
because that's where you seen it.
Right.
And then I asked you, what did you think about what he said? But
Yes.
it's just a conversation.
Yes.
That's
And
all.
right. And what I'm saying here is okay, like there are some people that I know, right? That when they talk to you, they're aggressive. Even though I don't match their energy by being aggressive back at
Of
them,
course. Yeah, of
right?
course.
Now, so that's why I'm saying to you that, I hear what you're trying to say that he didn't match your energy, But I'm just saying, if you look past that and just take it with a grain of salt, then that cancels out that whole thing of he didn't match. It didn't matter.
I know. I know. I keep telling you that. I know. I'm just
Right.
having a conversation. And I
Yes.
just
Yes.
brought that up because he says on his
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
channel
Yeah. Yeah.
to women all the time. So that's
Yeah.
just like when you brought up, well, if you're a devout Christian, you know, A, B, C, D. You held
Yeah.
me accountable for that, right? I'm
Right.
just holding him accountable for what he said on his channel. Well, I'm not,
Right.
you know, I'm discussing it here because
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
said
Yeah.
on his channel to other women, that's it. Take it with a grain of salt. I don't even need that much. It's,
Right.
you know, it's just conversation. That's all.
That's fine. That's fine.
You know,
And
it really
listen,
is nothing more than that.
that's
But
fine. That's
just
fine.
like you brought up with the Christianity, he says all of this and he goes in on these women. Okay, Mr. Samuels, then you got to come over here and be perfect because you're requiring me to be perfect. That's
I
all.
wouldn't take it to that extreme.
No, it's just, I'm being facetious. I'm being facetious. That's why my
Right. Right.
voice
Right. Right.
changed. I'm
Right.
being
Right.
facetious. So you're learning more. You see,
Right.
I'm silly. If you watch my channel, you'll know
Right.
when I go to this voice, I'm
Oh
joking.
boy. All right.
You'll know that I'm just reading you or I'm just
Got
playing,
you.
putting a little twist on it. That's all.
Lord of mercy.
Because it don't need to go that serious. It's just like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Yeah. Yeah.
and like you said, with those five people, this is my perception. This is the way
Yes.
I perceived it. And I
Absolutely.
understand that. And that's why it's good to have conversations and for people to realize that just because we're talking about the same Kevin Samuels or whoever, doesn't mean we have to agree or be saying the same thing
That's
you
fine.
know.
That's fine.
But I learned something from you as far as your, input. I hope
Yeah.
you learned something from me
Oh,
as far as
absolutely.
what I
Absolutely.
brought into this. And then,
Absolutely.
you grow up, you go on and have these amazing conversations. I
Absolutely.
love this platform, because of that. Here I am meeting you today. You already saw me, but here I am meeting you today. We have this nice long. We've been talking over an hour and a half. Yeah, but that's what it's
Right.
all about, to grow, gain
Yes.
knowledge, to gain
Yes.
wisdom, and then
Yes.
don't keep it to yourself. Pass it on. Help
Okay.
somebody else,
So all right. So just to get back to the theme of what you're talking about today,
Oh,
right?
oh Lord.
Now,
Okay,
now,
I forgot. What do you bring to
damn.
the table?
So just to get back to
I
that,
didn't
right?
even get halfway through. I had a
Oh well, all right. Come on, come on. Let me hear it. Let me hear it.
no. Go ahead.
No, no, no. I mean, go on, go on. I mean, it's your show,
Okay.
so go on, go on.
No. I thought you had something to say. You have anything to
Well,
say?
I was, but
Go for it. Go for it,
I'd
because you
rather.
must going to say something what I said at the beginning.
Okay. So, here's what I was going to say was that how do you distinguish when it's time to say, okay, we're done versus I need to keep trying?
When vetting, when courting, is that what you're talking about?
No, no, no. I'm just saying, like,
Because
okay,
this is before
let's just,
marriage. This
yeah,
is
yeah, yeah,
before,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So, my question is, I'm before marriage,
Yeah.
and I'm asking your personal opinion.
Mm-hmm.
How do you distinguish when a relationship is in trouble, okay, or there's
Mm-hmm.
problems rather? How do you distinguish when it's time to say we're done versus when you say I need to keep trying to make this better, even though there's problems in the relationship? How do you distinguish
If
the
there's
two?
problems in the relationship before we even get married and it's persisting, I'm done. I'm done, because if we can't, even in the honeymoon stage at the very beginning, and we supposed to be putting on our best clothing, we putting on our best self, and
Mm-hmm.
we're having issues right at the beginning before And at the beginning, I'm assuming within the first month, oh,
right?
it's time to go. It shouldn't even start out that way. We're not compatible at all because you're putting on your best, and then once you get into the marriage or into the relationship, and then it's going to be like clothes being taken off and you're unveiling more and more. It's not going to get better.
Okay.
So if that was
So,
your best, it's time for me to go.
right. So, yeah, but you answered one part of the question. The second part of the
Okay.
question
Uh,
was how do you vet or how do you make the decision, even if there's problems, we need to keep trying.
no, I'm not going to keep trying. That's what I said. It's time to go. If we're having problems in the beginning, I'm gone.
Okay, so
Bye.
all right. So let me ask you something. Right? Let me ask you something. So let's and I'm being uh I'm just going to be extreme. I guess somewhat extreme, right? Let's say you hated. I'm being extreme. Let's say you hated peanut butter, right?
And I love peanut butter, but okay, I do.
Okay, so let's reverse it. Let's
Okay.
say the guy that you're with hates peanut butter,
Okay.
but you love some peanut butter, right? And and you know you you wanted to make him some lunch, right? And because you love peanut butter, you asked him, man, I know you don't like it, but I think you should at least try it one more time.
I wouldn't do that.
No, no, no,
No.
no, no, no. Just follow what I'm saying, and I'm being extreme,
Okay.
being extreme.
Okay. Okay.
Let's just say you're saying that you're just trying to make a suggestion, like I know you don't like it, but at least try it just one more time, just one more time, and he's against it, right?
Okay. Hmm.
All right, and you know, and as far as he's concerned, he's like, look, I don't know why you even bringing this up
I
because
agree.
you know I don't like uh, peanut butter, you know, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's so good, it's so yummy, blah 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 blah, right?
Hmm.
Okay, so because you're just saying, I just think it's yummy, it's this and the third,
Hmm.
he gets really mad at you, you know?
Okay.
So for him, you've 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 kind of crossed that line,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So I'm saying to you that because he feels like you've crossed that line, you know, do you feel like, okay, you know, I need to I need to work this out so that I don't cross that line? Or are you going to say, well, you know, since you felt like I crossed that line, I'm done?
No, because I wouldn't do that. That's ridiculous. I wouldn't even get into that situation. That doesn't make any sense. No, I would not. I wouldn't even do that. Why would I? That doesn't. You're perpetuating it. You're causing it. You must be doing it because you want to go. Because no, there's no reason for that. That makes absolutely no sense. No,
No, I'll tell you what. I tell you the
I
point
wouldn't
I was,
even offer it to him. He made it
but
clear he doesn't like peanut
no,
butter.
right, right.
Yeah,
But I'm going with, but remember
you're
my
going with the extreme.
right. But the bigger point was to say that because he felt like you crossed the line, right? Even if you're just making simple suggestion, okay, would you try to work it out? Or would you say, screw that, I'm out?
Out of the marriage.
No, out of just courting or dating.
But see, my mind won't go there because that's just, I mean, I know
No,
it's extreme, but no,
Again,
I
stick
would.
with the example. Stick with the example. Not
So,
reality.
okay, so I caused that though. I caused it by bringing it up.
It was
I
just a
caused
suggestion.
it. I don't know. I'm think this is what I'm thinking. Okay, so
Right.
I brought it up. I
Right.
already knew he didn't like no peanut butter. I
Right.
kept pushing. He
You
got
didn't
to the
push.
point
No. Nope. 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 Be very clear. I
where,
said you
okay,
made a suggestion by saying,
okay.
why don't you try it? You
I
didn't
only said
push.
it once.
Yeah.
Won't you try? Because I'm fixing him lunch, and I said, "Won't
Right.
you try it one
Right.
time?" And
Right.
he said, "No."
Right. But
Okay,
as far as he's concerned, because made the suggestion, you've crossed the line.
I crossed the line because I made the suggestion.
Right.
I would
So,
have to know why he would think that I crossed the line for making the suggestion.
okay, I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give it to you.
Okay.
Because to his mind, the fact that he doesn't like peanut butter at all, even though your suggestion, nothing wrong with it,
It
but
is something wrong with it.
hold on. I'm saying on the surface, nothing wrong with it because it was just a mere suggestion. To his perception, you crossed the line because of you suggesting it, right?
Hmm.
Now, and that's why I'm being extreme to say, let's just say you didn't, you never knew about, his feeling up until that point. You're learning as it's happening.
Oh, so I didn't know he didn't like peanut butter,
No, no, you knew he liked peanut butter.
but I didn't know he will respond that way.
Ah, thank you. Thank you. You didn't know
So,
at that
you're
moment.
focusing on his response.
Right.
That okay. So what does his response look like then?
His response is, "Man, why the f? You'll be telling me about this
He
damn."
used the F word. He cussed.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Because he felt like you crossed the line,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'm asking you now:
Mm-hmm.
are you going to try to work it out with him, even though he felt like you crossed the line,
And we're not
or
married.
and you're not married,
Okay.
you're not married,
Okay.
or are you going to say, screw that shit, I'm out?
No, I wouldn't. If that's the first time he's done that,
Right,
that's the first time, and we're on the road, and we're aligning, and we're both in the direction to get married.
right.
Um,
And by
I'm
the way, there's no right or wrong answer.
no, I'm giving you my answer.
All right, go on.
And actually, I would be a little bit more heightened aware of his quickness to not control himself, because that shows me that he's not in control of his emotions. That shows me that he is a quick trigger, because it's not
Yeah,
that
but
serious.
let's get past that. The point is, are you willing to work it out or not? Very simple
Like
question.
I said, I wouldn't be, if that's one time.
Yeah.
I
Just
and we're not married. I
right.
would go out on a date with him again.
Okay. There you go. There you go. There you go.
That's it. You don't nothing to say?
No, no, no. I mean, the I was just trying to make a simple point of how do you distinguish, you know, when it's time to say versus when you can say, okay, this is worth trying to work it out.
Okay, so you answered that though, because the
No,
scenario with
it was I was asking you.
I know, no, I know,
Right.
but it was kind of the same scenario you asked earlier about the woman and the smoking and the drinking. The only difference is you guys were married, and you said
But I
you
was
was
I was
willing
talking
to
about
get
me.
out.
I was talking
I know,
about
no,
me.
I
So
got it.
now
Okay.
remember, in that instance, we were married.
And you was willing to go. We
Of
was
course,
married, I
of
wouldn't
course.
be willing to go over just that.
Right. But I was just trying to get a sense of how would you approach things. That's all it is.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, I'm be heightened aware, and you do it again, I'm gone.
Right. So
I'm
okay.
gone.
So let me ask you this, right? Um, and I guess this is just me getting to know you kind of thing, okay? What in all right, in the dating phase, what would be just a deal breaker that would make you say, if I see this, or if I know about this, if I it's just not going to go any further. What's your deal breaker
Don't believe in
in the dating
Jesus.
phase?
If you don't believe in Jesus,
Right,
I'm gone. That's it. Bye.
right,
Can't.
right. What else?
Um, like that's just a no. Well, of course, I have to be attracted to you to begin with.
Okay,
Um, if you ain't got no job, can't do it again. Will
right.
not. Mm-mm.
Refer to the lippy.
Yep. Never. I would never. I have learned I will never do that again. Never. And I'm going to tell you to your face the minute I find out. So I'm 53. So he's going to be, my age, around my age.
Yeah,
If you ain't making some money, I can't do it.
right,
I'm be straight up front. Can't do it. Can't
right,
do it at all. And then they gonna be like, "Well, that was your ex-husband's fault. You right. Go find him and blame him." But
right,
I can't do it today, and I'm not going to do it. I will
right.
not. I will
Okay,
not.
so
So that's for sure a no.
all right. So let
Um.
me ask you this, okay? And
Mhm.
and I think um yeah, I'm gonna ask you this because I honestly believe this is the one question Kevin should have asked you. Okay,
Okay. Mhm.
so
Mhm.
I'm going to be the Kevin Samuels for this one.
Okay. Go for it.
Okay,
Go for it.
so what would you say is the difference between who you are today with everything that you know today and how you feel about life, how you see relationships, yada, 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 okay, versus uh, um, versus the woman that you were when you were married to your ex-husband, and what your thinking was at that moment, and blah 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 blah, and how you saw relationships at that time.
Okay, so how I saw, I'll start that way. I'm gonna start backwards and work
Go
up.
for it. Go for it.
So how I saw relationship at that time prior to marrying my ex-husband, I really solely believe that a man would be a man naturally. I had no example of what that would look like. I had no imaginary thing in my head that he's
Yeah.
going to look like this, he's going to do this, and this is what's going to happen. I had no picture of that in my head.
Right.
I just believe that a man would be a man and do what a man's supposed to do. I
Mm-hmm.
knew that I was a young woman and I was going to do my part as far as a wife the way I understand it. I knew that I wasn't going to be in a relationship and not be married. Absolutely, I knew that from the beginning,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and really that was my understanding. To be honest, it was very vague. It was very simple. No example of what to
Right.
expect.
Right.
Okay, so as time goes on, so let's bring it to now. What
Yep.
I have learned in that marriage, in which I was learning early, but I was married and I was committed. I wanted my family, but I did started seeing this and learning it early. So what I learned is that that wasn't an example of a man. That I was I was disappointed in myself for allowing this and for choosing it. However, I truly believe God had me there. Um, Maybe to learn his lesson. I wasn't sure at the time why. I can give you a reason looking back, but I truly believe he had me there. And then I had my two kids, and I was hoping that, as you know, how with me, as time goes on, and with most healthy people, you grow, you
Right.
educate yourself, you evolve, you get better, you get
Yes.
refined, you
Yes.
get all, so I was hoping, at
Yeah.
some point also that this would, and I was being that example, not even being an example, I was in trying to encourage him
Right.
even more so. And this is sad to say, I would intentionally bring myself down. The way I
Okay. Okay.
talk, the way I would I would just bring myself down kind
Yeah.
of to encourage him, hopefully, to step up and be more of a man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I would praise him even when, to be honest, it wasn't warranted, but I wanted to build his self esteem. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted
Mm-hmm.
him to see the possibilities, but it was no avail.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then as time continued on and he was getting worse, it was like, okay, Lord, and I just started praying on it. And like I said, I stayed 18 years. Well, 16, 17 years, because the divorce was final in September. But literally, I was in it solid for 16 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
wanted this, and I wanted my family. And I was hoping and praying.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so to get back to your question, so now what I have learned is every man, just because he's a male, just because he got a penis, don't make him no man. And it doesn't,
Right.
nothing against him, because just like, we'll say, of course, I didn't learn. My mom and I didn't have an example, and okay, and he didn't either. But come on, it comes to a point where this big old universe, this big old world, it's up to
Right.
you to learn. You can't even blame it on that anymore.
No. 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 No.
You
No. 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 No.
so I learned that what to look for basically, and
Mm-hmm.
how to vet, for the
Mm-hmm.
most part,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um, of what I want and desire. I know a little bit more to speak up for I'm not a type of person that speaks up for myself. As
Oh,
far
interesting.
as I'm not, even though here, I'm very social,
Mm-hmm.
but when it comes to especially a man, like going back to my job and stuff, I'm not one, even though I know I'm right in my head, like being in the ER or whatever. And I know that I'm like, wait, at first I'll be kind of meek and like, oh, you're not. And then before any harm, I'd be like, no, don't but I don't naturally like speak up for myself in the presence of men or authority figures.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I just naturally go to that frame of being. So
So the short answer is you're very submissive.
I'm very submissive,
Go
very,
on.
very much
Go on.
so.
Go on.
And then so it was so towards the end, back to my marriage, it was hard because and I didn't know it at the time, I didn't know until I started hearing this on here. Just at the end, maybe the last 2 years, I see myself getting like, you ain't do, like, and that's not me. Like, you need to get it together. What's going on?
Right.
Coming out that way. And that's not me.
Right.
And then what he would do, he would turn it on me, like in front of my son and stuff. And then I'd be like, wait,
Wow.
this isn't
Wow.
even me. This is not
Wow.
me. And then once I realized that, that's when I started laying, it's time to get out because I'm changing. That's
Mm-hmm.
not me.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I didn't like how submissive I was, because I'm a person, I just give, 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 give. I give to a detriment of myself. I do. And I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
liking that about myself. So I changed that. And then when I started, well, I'm changing that. And then when I started with this frustration and looking at him with such like disgust, and I couldn't believe, I was like, it's time to go. It's time to
Mm-hmm.
go.
Mm-hmm.
So because of that experience, just like you said with Kevin Samuels, you come with so much and you see it so much. I can spot it.
Right.
I can spot it from a mile away.
Right.
Keep going. I've been doing it because I've been separated from my ex for about a year and a half. I'm
Right.
like, no,
Right.
I'm good. This brother, he
Oh
was mad at
Lord.
me. He just had the whole love. He's like, "Why don't you go on and write that number down for me?" I said, "Nope, I'm good. You ain't even for me." Come on. He go, "What?" I said, "Bye, brother." I said, all I needed was 2 seconds with him, and I knew,
Right.
nope, bye. And so, it's
Right.
like that now. I had the experience, and then just like I was on one show or something. I was like, I'm an amazing wife. No one can take that away from me. I know who I am and what I bring.
Right.
But I had, for whatever reason, I had to go through that. And amen, I went through it and I came out victorious. But
Yippee
huh?
I said yippee
Right, without shooting you. But yes, I can spot it a mile away. I'll be like,
Right.
this some bullshit, right? I'm
For
cool. Thank
real. For real.
you.
For real.
Yeah, I don't even. And then the crazy thing is, I know whoever comes into my life at this point that they're gonna know right away too, because they have who because they say that you attract who you are, right? So
Generally.
back
Generally.
generally. So back then, I could kind of see that actually, that I attract because I wasn't like, even though I'm making all this money and I'm in this, higher middle class, whatever you want to call it, that wasn't my thinking.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't anything that I was seeking actually, because my husband's supposed to take care of me. But I was already in that role. Like when he entered my life, I already had this nice big apartment. I was working, no kids, had all this money. I'm like, honest, and I'm just like, and then I was hanging out with nurses and stuff, and we just kind of wilding out a little bit. But money, I never looked at money like that, because it's like, he's supposed to not, I didn't even think of it as he's supposed to provide. I just knew my husband would take care of me. I wasn't thinking of like providing like
Okay.
money, because even in my marriage I was like, okay, I know I'm making the money, but I still want you to be the man. But that don't work.
Mm.
That
Mm,
ain't gonna
mm, mm,
work. I see
mm,
that
mm,
now,
mm, mm,
because he
mm,
ain't making no money for a reason, so he can't
mm.
even be a man.
So let
you
me
know
ask you this. Two questions. Number one,
Boy, you getting everything out of me. Okay, bring it on.
it's hey,
Bring it
listen, for the viewers, I'm just gonna tell you viewers, listen, this is just what you call teachable moments, but
on.
at the same
Amen.
time, this is life lessons, okay? And
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I'm gonna have
if
to
you take
change the.
if you take this conversation as either or, I promise you, your life will be enriched. So there, I said
Yes,
it.
I have to change the title. Amen.
No,
Okay,
you're
I'm
good, you're good,
listening.
you're good. No, you're good. It's all
Not
indicative.
yet.
Right. So, question number one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, do you think, yes or no, that the way things happened in your marriage, do you think even by the time you came out of it, a lot of it was just low self-esteem? Yes or no?
For me,
Yeah.
no, it was not.
Okay.
Never.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
Question number two.
Mm-hmm.
Question number two. Um, so since it wasn't low self-esteem,
Mm-hmm.
now, do you believe, um, since being in that marriage, because there's something that you said, and that's why I'm asking this question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe, and I'm just going to kind of paraphrase it this way,
Go for it.
do you believe you had to go through the shit in order for you to see the light of day?
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
okay,
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. That's why I said, I truly believe it was meant for me to go through that.
Right.
Because like once if you like I had a podcast and I kind of break down things a little bit more there and I give it more from my faith-based outlook and how God has always been there for
Yeah, yeah,
me
yeah, yeah, yeah,
through my
yeah,
whole life and
yeah.
stuff. But I truly believe because even in the beginning when I got married, the wedding
Mhm.
night, and before that, I prayed and to God, and He said no. You guys like, Lord, is this a man supposed? He said no. He clear as day, no. And I'm
How'd you
like,
know
okay,
God was saying no and not your conscience?
huh?
How do you know it was God saying no and not your conscience saying no?
Because I have a personal relationship with him, and he speaks to me, and I speak to him, and because of my personal relationship with him that I have developed, or that we have developed and cultivated. So absolutely, he told me no, and then I was like, okay, a little hard headed, and I said, all right, Lord, I'm going to do it. And I truly believe, this going to sound a little crazy. I truly believe that the Lord would make him the man that I wanted him in my mind, sort of say, to believe. I did. So, and then after we got married, I went to the room and cried. I cried like a
Mm.
baby. I cried, and he was sitting right there, and I cried and cried. And I said, I just don't love you. I don't know why I married you. I shouldn't have married you. And
Oh
I
my
just kept
God.
on it. Oh, yeah, right. He was sitting right there. And this went on. I just cried myself to sleep. I was so disappointed. I knew I just made
You
a big,
actually told him that?
yes, yes, sure did. Yep, yep.
Okay,
So,
so this brings up an interesting question. So, I'm just curious, do you think from the time you said that that changed everything?
for him,
Yeah.
no, no.
So, okay, so I'm asking because I guess in my mind I'm thinking if I heard my wife said to me after we just got married and she's crying and that would change my outlook if I'm being honest.
No, he didn't care. It's like, it's crazy that I never imagined that I would know someone that is so disconnected from themselves. And this is just my perspective. Been knowing him a very long time. So disconnected from emotions, from feelings, just it's it's
So,
it's it's sad to say and sad to see.
all right. So okay, here's another curious question. So, basically, you married a guy and I guess I'm going to piggyback off of one of the points I made earlier.
Mhm.
You basically married a guy who was set in his ways.
Absolutely. At 100%. 100 100%. Even to this very day, he's still involved, of course, in our life, in my kids' life,
Right, right.
to this very day. Okay, so I initially met him when I was 13, he was 14. He
Mm,
initially was my first boyfriend, right?
mm.
And I promise you, from that day to this day,
Mm.
he's the exact same. Exact same. And that is not an exaggeration at all. Just
Interesting.
got taller.
Interesting.
The exact same. No growth,
Interesting.
no nothing. Nothing.
Interesting.
I
But
think
but
that
then
that's why
again,
I cried, because I knew what I just committed to.
yeah, but wow. I guess my thinking right now is And that's why I asked,
Mm,
what's the difference between who you were at that time and who you are
hmm.
today,
Very different.
right? Um, because I was just trying to get a sense of, was it low self-esteem? Was it, you know,
Too
was it
caring,
what
too giving.
was it? No, no, I wouldn't think that, and I'll tell you why.
About me? I'm talking about
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Because because for me, when I hear, some of the things that you put up with, so to speak,
Hmm. Hmm.
my thinking is, one, you were just gullible,
I would take that. I will 100% take that. I
you know,
totally agree with that
because
adjective.
because I get the impression from you that everything that you said about you being nice and you being all these things from A to Z, you know, I honestly believe those things, that you're set in your ways as far as that's concerned.
As far as being gullible,
No, 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 no. As far as being nice, being given, da 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 da, that I believe you're set in your ways.
I'm trying to break it. I'm telling you, it's so crazy you say that.
But time out. But time out. Time out. Just a second, right? Now, you being giving, being nice, um, there's nothing wrong with it. Actually, there's everything, great about it, right? But it would seem to me at this point and at this juncture, because, from what you said, you're not that same person, a while back. Whereas today, you're still the nice and still the giving person. Only difference would be is you're wise enough to know, okay, who to give that to and who not to give that to.
Okay. True.
Am I reading the
True.
room right?
Well, true. You're right. You're right because you're so right. I didn't think of it that way because one of my aunts, when I got out
And I'm only
of,
going by what you say.
no, yeah, you're right though, because one of my aunts, after my mom passed away,
Right.
she kind of, because I would give my mom anything and everything, you
Right.
know.
Right.
So I seen her step into that, you
Right.
know,
Right.
and she knew how I was, and she would just hint like, "Oh, I sure would like that." You
Mm-hmm.
know, some UGG boots. I had on UGG boots or something. Oh, I sure would like, knowing that that's in my mind. I come across, I'm gonna buy it. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
and I did. But when I left my ex husband and I started really, this is how bad it was. I'm gonna share this. This is this is how going back to being gullible
Right.
and in,
Right.
in, in giving and just helping people.
Right. Right.
So when I first, my son, he was just like, Mom, I can't believe it. So when I first left my ex husband, I was just ready. So me and my kids, we went to a hotel room.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And as we were leaving, going to the storage to leave to move out the hotel room, it was this woman, her mother, and three little babies, 4, 6, and 8.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So went and came back. They were out there. It was cold, and I, here I am inquisitive. Oh, what's wrong? Blah blah blah. So they were stuck and all this stuff. So okay, how can I help you? What do you need? Did all this stuff. Then, and for some reason, I never get my number, but I gave her my number. And the next day, she called me, and I discovered that they had slept in the front of that house of her sister and all this. They hadn't eaten and all this
Wow.
stuff. So
Wow.
I took him some food and talked to him some more. So anyway, so I end up not I barely knew their name. I had literally not even known them 24 hours. I end up getting them a hotel room for a week, a little cheap hotel room. Went to the store, bought the kids a little grocery, so they can eat and all that stuff. So then I went to check on them next day. Then a week go by. And then because she seemed kind of slow, I don't know. But before the week, I said, I said, what are you guys going to do? I can't pay for another week. What are you guys going to do? They had no sense of direction or whatever. The mother was supposed to be called, all this stuff, but nothing fell through. And, at this point, of course, I'm not going to pay another almost $1,000 for a week hotel room or whatever. So her uncle or somebody ended up sending some money. So they went to another hotel room. And so I'm thinking I'm done with it. I'm saying to myself, I'm done with this because I know how I am. I get too invested so quick. And then it's these 3 little babies and all this stuff. So I said, okay, Lord, I'm done. I'm not going to answer. No, hopefully they don't call me no more. I don't want them to call me. So they end up calling. And then she goes, listen to this. And so she just had the phone, and here the mother turned out she's a drinker, yelling, abusing
Mm.
the kids, the little
Right,
boy.
right,
The
right,
boy
right.
was 4 years old.
Oh my
And I'm
goodness.
like, what? And then, yeah, he's in there yelling all this commotion. I'm like, what's going on? She's like, I've been trying to tell you she does this and blah, blah, blah. So I go there, and it was a mess. And I said, well, y'all come on right now. I literally that day just moved into my new place that
Mm,
day.
mm,
And it's nothing big like I had before, just something small. And for me and my 2 kids,
right.
I end up bringing her and all 3 of her kids to my house
Wow.
on just that whim. I still, at that point, I don't even think I knew her name. And so I end up, taking care of them and trying to help her get on her feet through the process. She ended up staying with me for 6 months. And it got to the
Wow.
point to where I was praying on it because I put them in front of me. Like I was supposed to start this YouTube stuff. This was my goal, my purpose, like 6 months prior, 8 months prior. But the kids have never been in school. They didn't know anything. And I was like, this is illegal. You can't.
Mm, mm,
So
mm,
I
mm, mm.
took on all it is. And once again, when I said I wouldn't do something like this again, I found myself doing it again. I was very disappointed in myself. And I know it's a good thing, but this is the lesson I got out of it. And this is, like you said, I tell you, the Lord speaks to me. This is the way He's speaking to me. You can call it what you want.
Right.
He told me, and I was discussing, and I ended up telling her, I was like, you know what? I said, my life is on hold. I said, I'm not supposed to be here. I can't, I'm not ready to raise no 3 babies because they needed everything from original, like learning. And then she was a little slow. And I was like, I can't take all this on. She started calling me mom. I'm like, no, girl, I can't,
How
and
old
I
was
told her
she?
she was 29, I want to say.
Okay.
But I
Okay.
think she was slow, but come to find out, the daughter in the middle, her father used to beat her real bad, and she lost her hearing.
Mm, mm, mm.
And she, well, and so whereas so she was getting beat, and then come to find out, the kids would have been the middle one and the young one had been
Yes.
molested.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yes.
I'm just
Yes.
like, did you report it? And she's like, well, I didn't know who to report. I said, girl, you got to report that. I said, now I have to report it because the kids are telling me. That's what made me go ask her. The kids had sense enough to tell me. She goes,
Wow.
my daddy would do that. I was like, do what? My daddy would do that. And one moment, let me give my son something real quick.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yep, still there.
Sorry about that. So I end up reporting, and that was a whole nother big deal thing. And I wasn't overwhelmed, but I'm
Hmm.
the type of person when I do something, I want to do it to the best of my ability and I want to be there. So, I was just like, gosh, what am I doing here?
Right.
So I end up, praying on it. And I was just like, Lord, you got to get me out of this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to be involved. This is just too much. So, as I was praying, he's like, it's not for you to save everyone. Just that simple. It's not for you to save everyone. Because anytime I
Well,
see anybody,
yes, but I can't help but to think that you both you both needed each other at that time, whether
well,
or not you want to
absolutely.
admit it or
Everything's
not.
for a reason. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I believe
both needed each other
everything's
at
for
that
a
time.
reason for me to
Yeah,
learn because that did teach me I can't be there for everyone. Because
I don't think
literally
that
I
was
was,
the big lesson. If I'm being, if my perception is correct, I don't think it
mhm,
was a
mhm.
matter of you can't be there for everyone, because obviously from what you're saying, it sounds like you were just there for a season and your season was done.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, I get that, but I
However,
still needed to learn that I can't save everyone
no,
because,
right, right, but
yeah.
I I I don't think that really was the bigger lesson. If I'm being, if my
Mhm.
perception my perception feels like, I don't feel like that's the bigger lesson. I
Mhm.
think from what you said, and given the description of the situation, I felt like the bigger picture was that you both needed each other at that time,
Absolutely.
and whatever you both were going to get out of it
Mhm.
at the time and at the season, that's how long it was going to last, and that was it. And it, and
I
it, and it,
totally agree.
and it wasn't even a matter of, you know I shouldn't be this way, I shouldn't be this way, I shouldn't be this way. I don't think that was really the bottom line,
Well,
because
I
because you
do.
know what, if had
Mhm.
you said the following, that um she came to your home, and then come to find out that she was, a terror, she terrorized your house. So in other words, pretty much what you went through with the stresses of being with your husband, you know she just brought it back all over again, but in a different form. So, if had you said something to that effect, then I can see you saying that, I needed to learn something, you know, but it doesn't sound like, you needed to learn something necessarily. It just sounded like you two needed each other at that time.
Yeah,
More so.
I will 100% agree with that. Yes, we were beneficial to each other at that time.
Right.
However, I'm 100% agreeing with that. However, I did need to learn that I don't need to be there for everyone. Because literally, when I say if someone told me their problem,
Yeah.
I took it on. I wanted to help them solve it because my thinking was always, I'm only sharing this because I want help with a solution. So
Yeah.
when other people share something, I'm thinking that way. You want help with a solution, right? That's what I'm thinking. But so no, but because no, I'm telling you, I needed that to know that I have to stop putting myself in, because I put myself there. I have to stop putting myself in a situation where I don't want to be.
Right.
I'll do that as well, where like I'll be having a conversation with like a family member. Another example, my uncle needs to go in for treatment, and we're just talking general. With me being so agreed with everything, how did I talk myself and agree to a 5-hour drive that I don't want to do? But since I said I'm gonna do it, but I got hoodwinked. And I'm like, no, Kai, no, you need to learn that word. No, I can't. Sorry. So
Okay.
that's kind of more so what I got out of it. Like I was saying, I need to speak up a little bit. Not in that situation. No, not that particular situation, but because of that situation
Yes.
and what, my conversation and my prayer, I realized, not that one, I realized that I need to make my yes a yes and my no's a no. I don't have to agree to do everything for everybody. And that takes me back to my aunt, which started this when she stepped into that role once
Yes.
my mom passed away, and I seen it.
Hmm.
She started because this was at the same time with the girl. That's why I brought it up
Right.
because
Right.
I had just left my ex. Well, my mom had passed away before that, but now I left my ex. My aunt calling more and more, and giving these little hints and stuff. So now I'm aware because I'm on heightened awareness. I'm like, wait, let me see what's going on. I'm woke. I'm
Right.
100% woke.
Right.
So she's doing this. I'm like, okay, and I am a straight shooter. My mouth. I'm sure you probably have peeped that. I'm honest. A lot of times my mouth get me in trouble, but I tell you the truth. I sometimes I need to slow down and I say everything that comes to my mind. But amen, we working on that too. My aunt called me. She called me and started doing that hinting stuff. And I said, you know what, Auntie? I said, I'm gonna take this opportunity. I'm not gonna because before I just disappear, I just block her number and be like, I ain't gonna deal with her.
Right.
But I said, I
Right.
ain't
Right.
gonna do that. I said,
Right.
you know what, Auntie, I'm gonna tell you to your face. We was on the phone. I said, I do not want to talk to you anymore because you're not encouraging. She
Right.
was she kept trying to push me to go back to the ER when I told her it wasn't the place for me. I didn't want to do it anymore. But she was thinking about all the money.
Hmm.
She not
Hmm.
thinking about my well-being and what I have discussed with God and what I,
Yeah.
feel and know is best for me. She just thinking about the money. Oh
Hmm.
no, you need to do this and you need. But I said, how do you know? You didn't go. You not there. Did you have a talk with God? So anyway, I got to the point finally. Well, Auntie, I'm not going to talk to you anymore. She's like, why? What I do? I said because you're not supportive. You're not on my side. And right now in my life, I just don't want to hear your voice, and I don't want you in my ear. You're not on the same. You're not on the same plan as me.
Right. 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 Right.
Something like that, I said. And then I said, and she goes, but why? And I gave her the example. Oh, I'm not going to do that anymore. I promise. I said, you keep doing it. But anyway, I said, but I can't do this anymore with you. So I didn't want to block you again. I wanted to be honest with you and upfront. So I'm going to say goodbye and I will be blocking your number, but I wanted you to know. So that was maybe almost a year ago now. And yeah, but then what I did do, I unblocked her back off of Facebook. So, she could, because I had her blocked on everything. Because that's another thing. Like when I was starting to start putting myself out there on these platforms, she go, "Oh, what's up with that picture? You looking mighty, overly sensual." I'm like, what?
Hmm.
So it was never no encouragement. But then for all my other cousins and stuff, she'd be like, "Oh, you're doing such a great job. I'm so proud of you." I'm like, "Girl, please." I don't, that's to me, even though it might not have been her intent, but that's the way I was taking. I didn't need that negativity. So bye. You
Right.
got,
Right. Right.
I'm done.
It
So
happens. It
through
happens.
all of this, I'm woke. I'm still consider myself a little gullible. I do, because I generally believe people what they say. You tell me something, I believe you. I don't question it. But once you show me that you're not aligned with what you're saying, it'd be like, okay, here come the questions, or
Okay.
I'm very direct about it. But I do initially, I believe people at 100% what they say until they prove it differently.
Okay. So let me ask you this: how do you? That's interesting.
Yes.
How do you distinguish? I'm pretty sure you got to be able to distinguish when you can tell someone is talking the truth or when you know for sure, listen, you lying?
I have not developed that skill. It's
Are you
sad to say.
serious?
I'm serious. I'm
I,
serious.
I have to say that if you have not developed that skill, and please do not take this as an insult. I have to
No?
go back. I have to go back to that Kevin Samuels.
Mm-hmm. You don't have to laugh that hard. You don't have to laugh that hard. Oh, come on.
Because you know, I guess in my mind, right, after
Mhm.
listening to everything that you just said up until this point, and for you to say what you just said, I'm like,
Did
wait
I
a
believe
minute.
people?
I'm like, wait a minute. Like, you know, that's why I asked you. I said, tell me the difference between who you were back then versus who you are today, right? And
But
then, of
okay.
course, you
Mhm.
said that you've learned, you know, the power of no, just like there's the power of yes,
Absolutely. Okay,
right?
maybe it came out the wrong way then. Because when I'm saying I
Okay.
believe people, okay, when I'm saying that, that's someone that I have developed some type of cordialness with or something, some type of relationship, friendship, casual, whatever it may be. Like we have talked multiple times, not like someone that I'm vetting to be in a relationship with or something
I'm
like
sorry,
that. No.
Tanya, but that I got to stop you there
Okay,
because
no, let me just finish real quick. So,
go ahead.
someone that I have spent some time around, if you tell me something, I believe you. I'm not just going to assume that you're lying to me, is what I'm saying, because I'm not going to do that to a person, to anyone. There's no reason to. So, yes, but this is not old Joe off the street coming up to me telling me something. I'm just going to believe him. That's not what I'm saying. You see, I'm saying someone that's in my life, someone that I have dealings with. You tell me something, I believe you. Yes.
Okay, but again, I'm stripping it the to the most basic of all basic, and it's
Hmm.
got nothing to do with whether you're in a relationship, family, friend, foe.
Okay.
Zero. What
Okay.
this simply has to do with what I'm asking you is, you know, given all that you have said, can you distinguish when someone is saying something honest versus when someone is lying? Can you distinguish
What?
the two?
So you mean like in the moment, like if I have developed a friendship with someone, I've
No,
been
has
knowing
nothing to do with
them.
friendship. Nope, nope. Take
Okay,
all of
I
that
have to
out. Take it out.
establish. Like right now, if you was to lie to me, I wouldn't know you're lying. Unless your story is elaborate and is ridiculous and something for me to question. But I'm saying what I'm trying to say, if I if I am in a friendship or develop whatever, I'm not talking about a relationship as far as a boy and a girl. No, I'm just talking about some type of cordialness, some type of friendship. And we're having a conversation
Right.
and you tell me something, I'm going to believe you. That's what I'm
Yes,
saying.
and that's why. Right, and that's why I'm also saying that what part of you can, let me reword it this way. What part of you can vet that, you know,
Mhm.
that can vet, okay, I'm not as gullible as you think. Hmm?
Because when I'm having a conversation with you and your action does not align with what you say, okay, I'm not going to just assume, but there is clues. It's like, I don't even want to say intuition, but you can, I mean, it's obvious with certain types of people like, oh, I don't want to be around that person, even if they don't say a word. I got that intuition or whatever you want to call it.
Okay,
But what I'm,
all right, let me give you an example of what I'm talking about, right?
oh
Like this.
Lord, let me, okay.
All right, let me give you an
Uh huh.
example of what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So let's say,
Wait, I'm sorry. Let me turn this down. I just got to check. So, okay, go ahead.
yes. So let's say you say to me, right,
Mm-hmm.
that um, let's say you say to me,
And I got to go after this. I was supposed to show up on this panel. Okay,
okay.
go ahead.
Anyways, let's say you say to me
Mm-hmm.
that you like the color red.
Oh,
Okay,
gosh. We're back to this. Okay.
you like the color red.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. So we're having a conversation about the color red. Okay,
Okay. Mm-hmm. Not to
but
rush you, but yeah. Uh-huh.
yeah, yeah. But you turn it around and you're talking about the color purple because you're very passionate about the color purple.
Okay.
And yet I'm still like, wait a minute, but you just said red is your favorite color, right? And you talk about how nice it is, but but I say, okay, show me your closet. And you show me your closet and 90% of it is
It's
all
purple.
purple,
Okay. I can go with that. Mm-hmm.
right? So the
Mm-hmm.
fact that you're telling me red is your favorite color, but yet you're also talking about purple, and I said, okay, show me your closet, and you show me your closet, and 90% of it is purple,
Mm-hmm.
then I'm already I'm already gonna look at you like you're
Why?
lying. There's no way that red can be your favorite color.
Maybe I don't want to wear red. Maybe red doesn't look good on me. It could still be my favorite color.
No, no, no. Think about it. Think about it. This is okay. This is why I'm saying that would be a lie because it does not make sense. What is your favorite color is what you have the most of. Got it?
Okay.
Okay. So, okay, just like the same as if I say, what's your favorite food?
That doesn't mean I'm just going to eat that food.
No, 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 no. Stick
Okay,
with
can
me.
we gotta continue? I really gotta go. I'm
All right.
like 15 minutes late. You know
But
what? Once
but the
I'm
point is
done
I'm
here,
saying is, yeah, but the point is I'm saying is if what you're saying is either it doesn't make sense or it's not in alignment and it's contradictory to what you're saying, then it's a lie. And that's the point of me saying, that's how I can vet when someone's lying.
well, that's just what
Does
I
that make
said.
sense?
I just said that. I said if your words don't align with your action, I said that a long time
No,
ago.
no, no. You said
You don't
action.
remember me saying that?
I'm talking about, yeah, but I'm talking about when someone's talking and you're not seeing the action. How you can vet from their words.
We gotta continue this later. We do because I'm like 15. I am really. I was gonna. I gotta go on this panel. I don't have to, but I said I would.
All right. All right.
It's been such a pleasure, Mike. I really appreciate you for coming on this my platform and talking
You're
with
welcome.
me.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
yeah. I'm
You're welcome.
probably gonna go live again tomorrow. So you're more than welcome. We can continue this tomorrow if you
All right.
like,
All right.
or
That'll
any
be that'll
other
be
time
that'll be
whenever. But
fine.
I appreciate you. I thank you.
So I would just like to say on behalf of yourself, everyone, please, please go and subscribe to Just Kaya Real Talk Daily, in as well
Amen.
as look at me, everybody. Right there, right there. No, actually, it's right there, right where my
Mhm.
finger is
Big
pointing.
time drum,
Hit
Mike.
that notification bell so that you will be updated every time a new video comes out, and as well as give the dang thing a like, share this video with your family and your friends, and
Amen.
leave a comment and let her know what you think of the video, what you think of the talk, and any other comment. Please leave the comment and she will gladly respond. And there's my 30-second pitch. on behalf of you.
Amen. And record. Record, replay after every episode. Thank you so much. Once again, I appreciate you. And this was fun. I really
Awesome,
enjoyed it. So
awesome,
thank
awesome,
you.
awesome.
Okay. Until
Anytime.
next time, I'm going to go and subscribe and, check you out.
Thank you, sweetheart.
All right. Take
All right.
care. Come over to Anton's thing and you see me over there.
All right. All right. All right.
He's live right now.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, I'll talk to you later.
Bye, honey.
Bye-bye. Like he said, guys, go check me out, subscribe, comments, all of that great stuff. I didn't even get to finish. Oh, let me talk here. I didn't even get to finish when I came on here to even record, but it's all good. I appreciate Mr. Mike. He cammed up and took over my show, but it's all good. Because I was answering the question of what do we bring to the table, and actually 1, 2, 3. I only got 3, and I have all these more to go. So tomorrow I will be camming up again to go over these. I think these are very good qualities to share and discuss. I hope tomorrow maybe more people or someone will show up or what cam up and let's have a discussion. But I need to learn how to stay on point. But this is my second time, but it's all good. That was a very great conversation with Mike. I did put in there, come with any questions, and I will answer them. I love answering questions and sharing about myself. Oh, he just put a comment in and said, just make it a part 2, which I will do. And yeah, you guys, I appreciate you all, whoever dropped in and whoever sees this video in the future. I really appreciate you. I am here to build a community for us to grow and learn from each other. And of course, let's not forget, we also need to challenge each and every one. Okay, you guys, I'm going to say bye for now. And yeah. Let's do this again tomorrow. I don't want to say a time because I don't know. But like my buddy Mike said, please subscribe if you enjoy what's going on over here. Hit that like button and the little alarm thing so you can get notified when I go live. Appreciate you. Make it a great day. Until next time, you guys. Bye.